A bunch of naked people out in the wild looking for excitement. And in the Amazon rainforest, this is just too much excitement. People used to torture themselves. Only strong players. To adapt to the environment and live a good life. Let me see who the gods are. First in the frame is Steven's team. I don't know if you remember them. Had a good track record in previous challenges. This time to the Amazon. The mood is nervous with a little excitement. Like Steven has signed up 5 times. It can be said that the body is adjusted. I send myself on a wilderness vacation. There is certainly no question of strength. He wants to be the leader of the team. Lisa's a 2-time cancer killer. Even if your partner drops the challenge and goes home, she has a strong will to complete the challenge alone. I don't need to say much about strength. Soon they came to the beginning. The old rules released the shackles of the body. They're used to being on camera, being able to get close in the wild again. Timmy's heart was so happy, just a little worried about the mosquitoes here. That's when the bite gets infected. On the other side, Gary sets up here, to the coast where food resources are unusually abundant. In theory, enough to feed everyone. A survival veteran like Gary. Know exactly how to eat and drink well in the wild. He's not here to challenge, but enjoy the barbecue buffet. I set a small goal before I came. Grab a crocodile for each group. The last challenge was a disease, and had to give up the challenge. This time, I'll fill myself up with antibiotics. He can't get away with it now. He can win. Luther looked much more serious. This challenge is definitely harder than ever. It looks like there's plenty of food. There's also the question of whether they can be caught. They used to hunt pigs with bows and arrows. It's one of the few moments in life that stands out. He hasn't hunted crocodiles yet. It's up to your teammates to fly them. The team atmosphere is good now. Gary was so excited that he screamed. A bunch of guys naked in the wild. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm sure it'll have some color. Look at the fat on your body. I knew I could starve. On the other hand, Kayla's team wasn't so lucky. The first step is to be surrounded by mosquitoes. More worried about being bitten by mosquitoes than starving. That acid really drives people crazy. I can only laugh to relieve the tension. Dan didn't expect the show to be so tough. Let them party with the gnats. What's the challenge here? It's like helping the mosquitoes. Make sure they have fun and fun, as long as you don't get sick. At that time, they even ate pigs. It's just a little hard here. Pray for the crocodile to come to you. Make sure you take care of the 5 insurances and 1 fund. Jamie sees no point in worrying more. Might as well take off your clothes and enter the copy. He can't wait to show it. Let the gnats bite you. Promise not to kill them. And finally, the girls led by Amber. They're about to face a mountain lion. I have to say the show will be arranged. Amber has faced this before. Every time I challenge myself, I get food. In terms of confidence, that's definitely there. She found it easy to fill her stomach. I'm afraid the bad environment will affect the challenge. The last time was frostbite, and the doctor forced him to leave. It was only a few days away from completion. What do you say this time to the end? Jenny is afraid of sudden drop in temperature. I was so cold, I lost consciousness. Forced to go home and wash up. It's going to be a little longer than before anyway. Okay. Cougars are terrible. Better than a tigress. And there are 3 of them. Trish thinks she's already won half the challenge. The rest is up to your teammates, you know. Now they are ready to enter the copy. You don't know who's going to go home first. The show has already prepared the players' equipment. The usual old actors. It satisfies the most basic survival needs of the players. People were very satisfied with that. The most interesting part is Timmy's blowgun. Are you sure this is where you can hunt for food? Kind of looking forward to his performance. Follow the map instructions given by the program team. Everyone is thinking of the altitude. Stay out of the water as much as possible to avoid being spotted by mosquitoes. How about we start with Amber? They're already sick of ants. Fortunately, we found water on the way in. The nearby open space is also good for camping. Just a little more mosquitoes. Amber wants to get this done before dark, but Trish wanted to look around. Amber doesn't want an awkward first day. I had to take my advice and look around. That's about as good as it gets. Build shelters with the help of big trees. In theory, as long as there's no heavy rain, they can live there for a long time. Kayla's team found a suitable spot on this side. Everyone gets along fine. It's just Kayla can't hear Jamie. I wish I could see the barrage. They finally chose to camp here, with a natural barrier. Plus, it's not that far from water. Just take precautions against mosquitoes. This place is a vacation spot. I wanted a room for 3. The material cannot be neglected. It's just the beginning. I have more energy now. Otherwise, it's just cutting wood. You can make a person fall. You're all experienced players. Simple communication has already begun to build. This side of the Gary Formation is more densely vegetated, not conducive to hunting. Better to find an open space. The ground is moist. Snakes, they love this kind of environment. No one thinks about getting bitten on the first day. There's a lot of palm trees on this side. It'll be a lot easier to set up. They just couldn't figure it out. We can't keep wasting time like this. Act first to build. When you have a problem, try to solve it. Gary feels like he can't live without him. There has to be someone on the team who can make decisions. Otherwise, it will be difficult to continue the challenge. And he was nice enough to light the fire. You can drink it with hot water later. With an experienced captain like Gary around, it's a lot easier to feel challenged. The team atmosphere was pretty good. Amber's a little slow here. There are poisonous trees all around. If you accidentally touch the juice, the skin had to be scrapped on the spot. It can even be life-threatening. Great care is needed to cut and collect wood. If I get knocked out for this, it was worse than getting hurt. Amber didn't realize there were so many poisonous trees. I had to stop what I was doing. The mood of anxiety that is very uncomfortable. I don't know. It's psychological. Or the juice actually got it. Amber was so sick she threw up. It's only day 1. I don't think anyone's pulling out of the challenge. That's what my teammates think. Must have touched something in the mouth. Why else would the body be so intense? It's going to take some getting used to. Amber doesn't think it's a big problem. I'm just a little hungry after I throw up. Kayla's team is going a lot easier here. We've got a rough outline of the shelter. Challenges have never gone this well before. Let's just say my teammates are really good. Dan is going to get some water to boil and drink. It looks a little worse, as long as it's boiled and drinkable. Dan was very pleased with Kayla. Not only did it not slow down the team, I also offer you a lot of help. I believe we can complete the challenge together. Steven considered himself very lucky to find such a perfect place. The only downside is that the ground is full of bugs. Just get the elevated platform and the fire right. I don't have to worry about bugs coming to the party. After a brief discussion, take action. Steve's the boss now. He felt that under his leadership. I am sure I can successfully complete the challenge. Lisa had already made the fire. Then bring some water to boil. It already feels like home. There are more palm leaves here in the Gary Formation. These are woven together to make a roof. In theory, you just have to make it dense. Don't worry if it rains hard. Only mosquitoes are impossible to prevent. It's like they're running a cafeteria. The mosquitoes came in batches and batches. Every one of them leaves on a puff. The hum never stops in my ears. I wish I could burn this place to the ground. I couldn't focus on the challenge. Gary wanted to stop and pick his feet. I wish I had a little bug killer. At night, mosquitoes become extremely active. The fire was like a decoration. Doesn't drive away what? So itchy they can only beat themselves. I mean, it's just another one. No intention of stopping at all. A little sleep tonight would be nice. It used to be like playing with mosquitoes. Where is it as crazy as here? They're going to tear people apart. I didn't expect the first night to be so hard. The flame is supposed to keep the bugs away. Why does it feel like it attracts more? Even if you smear mud on your body. Still no way to stop the mosquito army. Just hope we don't get into the weak spots. People would rather fight lions. I don't want to confront mosquitoes. Sleep deprivation is worse than starvation. I barely made it to dawn. People are in a terrible state of mind. Jamie didn't expect it to be this hard. There were gnawing marks all over his back. Didn't even get a chance to sleep last night. The pain was burning everywhere. If this keeps getting worse, I'm afraid I'm about to be carried away. I can think of nothing but smearing mud. A little protection from mosquito bites. I want to stay here for 40 days. We have to upgrade the shelter. The smoke from the fire needs to hang around a little longer, so the mosquitoes don't dare to get too wild. Jamie's in a very wrong state of mind. It's only been a day, and we're at our limit. Part of him wants to give up the challenge and go home. I wouldn't have had the courage to sign up. The other players are feeling bad too, but they choose to stay engaged in the challenge. Don't waste time complaining. Just complete the shelter. Then the quality of sleep package can improve. Gary, it's getting better and better. Are you sure you're not going to burn yourself out? Now here's the fun part. It took him a long time to realize that the juice was poisonous. Now my eyes are burning. It turns out being too positive isn't a good thing. Boz didn't expect this. If things don't get better in a minute, I had no choice but to call the doctor. Gary doesn't know if he's going to be okay. Can only rest there for a while. It's hard on Steven's side, too. No one could sleep last night. Lisa was even more outspoken about chemo than she is now. The mood is very low. All that can change now is upgrading the shelter. The mosquitoes must be repelled. I'd rather choke on the smoke. I wouldn't let a bug bite me. Just do what you say and start doing it right away. Try to get a good night's sleep tonight. Amber's just about set up, but mosquitoes are still flying everywhere. The most common method of deworming in the wild. That must be burning termite nests. It's just that the mosquitoes are so vicious around here. Are we sure we can get rid of it? I can't think of a better way. Let's just hope we find a termite nest. Fortunately, one didn't have to go far to find out. That's enough to burn for a couple of nights. And the termites in there can be snacked on. Not to be missed in the wild. Take this back immediately and see what it looks like. Do you think they're going to sleep tonight? Jamie wasn't in physical relief, especially with that sore, swollen foot. I feel bad lifting it up. Work is impossible to work. Just sit there and wonder about life, no matter how much his teammates comfort him. Jamie's answer was either a sore foot or an itchy butt. For a moment, nobody knew what to say, although it would be a shame to give up the challenge the next day. But the body has been frantically flashing red lights. He's here to challenge himself and push the limits. I'm not here to torture myself. I'm still overestimating my abilities. Finally chose to give up the challenge. Boy, it's only the second day. Some have already chosen to go home. People think Jamie's not good enough, or the mosquitoes are too poisonous here. The rest of the team was overwhelmed. No matter how good the challenge was, in the face of new challenges, it is possible to flip over. Gary's hasn't gotten better yet. I don't suppose he's going home, too. The only good news is there are no other symptoms. Don't call the doctor for a while. There are a lot of unfamiliar trees around. You can really send yourself away by cutting it down. You have to deal with mosquitoes at night. This challenge is really not easy. I wish I had clean water for my eyes right now. It's just hard to tell with the water around. It would be bad if things got any worse. Gary didn't expect such bad luck. For safety's sake, ask the staff to bring purified water for cleaning. The trees Gary encountered were poisonous. Cleaning alone is not enough. It has to be treated with eye drops. If it doesn't get better in 2 hours, Gary's going to have to go to the hospital. This is really bad luck. Anything can go wrong, you know. Steven's team is perfecting the shelter. It's got a big crown on it. Not at all worried about the storm. The roof is mainly to keep out mosquitoes. I'd rather it rained every day than hang out with them. Steve and Timmy are going to find termite nests to burn. Lisa had no idea it was so bad. If we quit the challenge now, I wonder what everyone will think. The bugs are worse than the last challenge. You're really pinning your hopes on the termite nest. I hope you get a good night's sleep. The termite nests we found here are not very large, but it's enough to burn for a night or two. Timmy accidentally found fruit on the tree. It's a great mosquito repellent. The problem is it's too high. I'm afraid we'll have to cut the tree down. Luckily, there were fallen fruits around, plus the termite nest in your hand. If any more mosquitoes come in at night, just eat it yourself. So it's important to read more books. You wouldn't even know it was there. Gary's hasn't gotten better yet. Worried about what might go wrong. My teammates came by to check in. If you go blind for the challenge, the price is too high. The staff asked for Gary's opinion. What else is there to say? Then it must be important to go to the hospital. Gary didn't expect to leave the next day. Of all the challenges I've taken part in, this is the worst. What can you say about your teammates? You never know what an accident is. Gary was in a very low mood. Let's just say it was a difficult challenge. 2 have already given up the challenge and gone home. Fortunately, we got to the hospital in time. Gary had his eyes treated. He made a full recovery and returned home 3 days later. Stephen cut open the fruit to repel mosquitoes. I don't know if it worked. Chew it up and spit it out in your hands. Just a little less mosquito bite. Amber's trying to burn the termite nest. It doesn't smell very good. It could be psychological. My skin doesn't feel as itchy as it used to. Just see how it goes at night. After Gary left, Vaz and Luther have to keep going. Mosquito bites are becoming more frequent. If you accidentally get malaria, I'm afraid we can join Gary now. The only good thing might be, 2 people living together is less crowded. Is this height safe from mosquitoes? With Kayla, the bugs are going crazy again. They're going to bite everywhere. Stevens is a little better than that. Under the dual repellent of termite nests and fruit. Finally get a good night's sleep. Try to get everything ready before the storm. It suddenly rained heavily during the night. The temperature is dropping off a cliff. The fire can't even keep it warm. The shelter was a little worse. There's still rain seeping into it. If it rains all night, I don't know how many people will lose it. Day 3 of the challenge. Lisa was very disappointed in the shelter. It's not warm and it leaks. Worst of all, there were more mosquitoes after the rain stopped. My body was shaking. Timmy doesn't know how long he can stay. Sleep time these days. That's probably less than 2 hours. Is this a place for people to stay? That means Steven's skin is thick. You can fall asleep under mosquito bites. After all, he has participated in many challenges. The first few days are going to be tough. Anything that makes it through will make a little better. Thought I'd find something nice to eat nearby. I didn't think I'd get stuck in a swamp. It is not easy to walk. The leader must take good care of the players. Now go and collect some palm leaves, so it can stay dry even if it rains. Don't look at the woman talking and laughing. Not doing so well either. They really want a place to clean up. There's a lot of palm frond around here. These need to be machined and woven. For the next storm, no rain can get down inside. Amber wanted to go fishing at the pond. There'll be plenty of bait around. She's confident she can feed the team. The trap for catching fish is simple. Just a pole stuck in the dirt. Just tie some fishing line to it. On the other side, I was fishing myself. There's nothing good about the gas shelter. It rained last night, and it's all wet in there. There are mosquitoes everywhere at my feet. Compared with the arrival, the foot is swollen a lot. I'm afraid you'll get rheumatism if you go on like this. The shelter that Gary directed, it still doesn't make sense. It takes more time and effort to adjust. Kayla's side is also perfecting the shelter. They'll do a lot better. You know it can withstand the rain. The two work particularly well together. It's just bugs buzzing around. I want to plug my ears. Dan was very comfortable on it. Hopefully the smoke down there will keep the mosquitoes away. At this pace, we should be able to make it through 40 days without a problem. When Dan went to collect his materials, there's a big bird out there. Without a moment's hesitation, grabbed the machete and aimed straight at the prey. Oh my God, there you have it. Kayla thought she was dreaming. It's a little rough around here, but there's a lot of food. The bird is not difficult to handle. After a while, the two were eating barbecue. Until it's crunchy, it feels good to have meat. Timmy and the boys came fishing. I thought it was going to be hard to catch. I didn't think it would take more than a few minutes. I've already caught a fish, a little bit smaller, but this one is really easy to catch. Take it back to cook immediately. Life is getting better and better. This is the right way to open for wilderness survival. The smell of fish collides in my mouth. You never get tired of it every day. Amber also successfully caught the fish. There's movement in the trap next door. I have to say, the fish here are really easy to catch. Take it back to camp and share it. No one can refuse this delicious taste. Just put it in the pot and cook it. The smell is already very satisfying. If I could get one a day. 40 days doesn't seem too hard. Kind of forgot about the gnats for a while. The smell of fish in my head. What people don't expect is that. After the fish on the Lisa's side, I feel very upset in my stomach. I couldn't help but spit it out. Boy, I don't think there's going to be another problem. Lisa doesn't know what's going on. It's just a lot of physical pain. Jenny had the same problem. I don't think it's really the fish. It's getting worse and worse. Amber thinks it's just not fitting in. You'll be fine if you throw up. As the night went on, Lisa's condition got worse. And then the mosquitoes come in. The body was about to break down. The other contestants are having a hard time, too. Various methods have been tried to combat mosquitoes, but it didn't work out very well. It's just a bunch of gnats at any time now. It's only going to get worse. I want to lie in the smoke. Another sleepless night. I barely made it to day 4. Lisa woke up and wanted to dry herself in a fire, but tried many times without success. He was devastated emotionally. Gas's foot is getting swollen, even up to the calf. This is clearly a bug bite problem. Go on like this. It's no use starving yourself. Once infected, you can only quit the challenge. There is still much to be done. I can only ask Luther now. He didn't want to go into the water to catch fish. We're going to have to build a pier. Luther is really nice. No complaints at all. So quietly take action. Lisa's not holding up anymore. I just didn't realize Timmy was leaving too. He hasn't even shown the blowgun yet. It's a shame to quit the challenge. Steven is in the dark. 4 days, and I'm saying goodbye to my teammates. Is it hard to do anything on your own? For people who have dropped out of the challenge in just 4 days, there are also a number of players who are not feeling well. How many people will finish the challenge? Let's wait and see. While others are happy to catch fish, the man was lost in thought because his little brother got a crush on a leech. It doesn't matter how much you pull it. The harder the pressure, the more the leech burrows in. If we keep going like this, we're going to lose him. Did some great God tell him what to do? Steven didn't expect the first few days. My teammates said they were quitting and going home. The heart is quite envious. Now is not the time to give up. Try and stock up on firewood. Suddenly, I find a snake walking to my door. Oh my God. Are you alone so you could be bullied? I didn't even think about it. I grab it. Reward yourself with a chicken-flavored snake tonight. You don't have to share your meat with anyone else. Well, I guess the departure of a teammate helped too. How can you tell if the snake is poisonous? It's quite simple. It's just a bit of a loser. Got bitten by a snake and didn't open the table. Well, then we know it's clean. Steven thought he was so clever. Luther's back from the collection. Gary was recently delivered by SAP. Gas's foot is so swollen. I figured I'd be leaving too. You know, it's only day 4. There's still a long way to go before the challenge is over. Voz can barely stand up now. You can't leave all the work to Luther. Even if he wanted to, he'd be too embarrassed to win. Now stay in the camp and work. Food and firewood depend on Luther. The pressure can be quite intense. It's all covered in greenery. Better to clean this up. Otherwise, it's hard to get food from fishing. Before the challenge, it was difficult to communicate with teammates. I like being a partner with Gas, although he's having some problems right now. But it doesn't affect my love for him. Full of security. Who doesn't want to go over there and hug? Now I have to fix the pontoon myself, so you don't get caught in the line. There are not only spiders around, but also water snakes. It's not safe to stay in the water for long periods of time. Luther doesn't want to be their dinner. Try to empty as quickly as possible. I wonder when you're going to catch a fish. Jenny's not feeling well on the girl's side either. A little better after a night's rest. I need some food to fill my stomach. If you eat it again, really can only say goodbye. Let's go fishing over there. Try to get 2 fish for everyone. Amber doesn't find it hard to fish here. It just takes a little more time. Just a little too many leeches around here. I'm afraid it's going to get under there and suck blood. Before you take too much, it'll be a little less painful to pull it off. Just in time to use it as bait for fishing. I don't know if it gets infected. Amber, can you show us how to fish? There must be no hurry. When the fish is in the mouth, pull it up. I mean, if I had hands. This is enough to satisfy everyone's cravings. Jenny thinks she can fuck her too. Try it out with Amber's instructions. A few minutes later, they said there were fish. The fish are too easy to catch here. Or Amber taught me too well. With a little effort, baking fish every day is not a dream. I kind of like them. Not worse than the men in the wilderness. Keep at this pace. It's not a bad idea to have a full team. It's a shame Jamie's leaving, but Dan showed it with strength. It doesn't affect the hunt. They ate it quite happily. The most important thing now is to collect more palm leaves. They're going to finish the roof. Not only can shelter from wind and rain, you can also keep the smoke inside and keep the bugs out. Just make camp a little more comfortable every day. They have a better chance of staying until the end. Kayla was glad she had Dan as her partner. A positive attitude makes you feel optimistic. The biggest problem is food. It takes too much energy to work every day. Let's see if we can catch some fish. Good luck today. Dan soon heard Kayla's cheers. You thought you caught some big fish. I didn't realize it was just a little fish. What a waste of expression. I don't even feel like I can handle it. But it's better than nothing, right? At least it proves it's okay to fish here. Grilled fish is fragrant. I don't know if it's psychological. They think they don't add anything. It tastes even more delicious on top. Sure enough, high-end ingredients only need to be treated in the simplest way. Steven did the same thing. Everyone says it tastes like chicken. He just kind of doesn't believe it. It's the rainy season here. The roof is definitely going up. The problem is there are no palm leaves around. I had to hide in a hole in a tree. At least there's a place to sleep. It's just a lot of spiders in there. Only tarantulas are tasty. Steve feels like his teammates are leaving. Take your own luck. There's no need to worry about your tummy today. Just in time to show you how to use a blowgun. Actually, this is a better place to catch birds. He's too clumsy to get too close. Where did the tarantulas go? I'm afraid I'm going to come back at night and take a bite. What made it worse was the sound of thunder. Looks like bad luck has inherited itself. Things got worse during the night. I worry even when I'm ready for it. The only benefit is that there are fewer mosquitoes. As long as the fire holds, I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. Dan's ought to be the most comfortable place. They don't feel the rain at all. It's a little unbelievably dry. Best for sleeping on your back. It's just that Kayla's a little flappy. Accidentally put your foot in the fire. It's just that poor Steve hasn't prepared anything. You have to watch out for tarantulas when you're in a tree hole. I don't have to think about sleeping all night. Sometimes I envy my teammates when they say they give up. He still wants to be able to persevere. At least make it through the week. I barely made it today, 5. Steve's had enough of this life. What are we talking about today? The shelter. I don't want to go into the tree hole again. Yeah, but there's a lot of gnats around here. Ants don't even know they're there. It's not easy to get bitten. The materials have to be cleaned further. The girls didn't sleep very well last night. Every now and then it rains down, and the bed was uncomfortable. I need these done today. Amber still chose to go fishing first, as long as the food keeps up, so you can stand up to anything. Actually, fishing is easy here mostly. If everyday Air Force who wants to come. Triss and Jenny have a simple idea. Then raise the bed a little bit, so you don't lie in the wet mud. And it's a little bit safer from mosquitoes. Amber figured if there was enough bait, she can wipe out all the fish here. Frequent Air Force friends. Welcome over here to try it. Tracy asks Jenny, does size matter? She likes it big anyway. Jenny was blushing. Can this be broadcast on the street? Dude, you guys are all naked. I don't think the scale is too big. Amber then returns to camp with the fish. A steady source of food every day. So far, the challenge has been easy. Try to make the shelter more comfortable. Kayla's foot is worse than I thought. It's a little difficult to walk. I don't think anyone's quitting the challenge again. No one could have predicted this. Plus the bite left by the mosquitoes. Now it's like a pig's foot. Are you sure you want to keep this up? I think I might as well go home early. It's not as stressful for Dan. Put up with the pain and go to work. Is this really a good idea? Now they're going to try fishing too. We just need to clean this up first. Dan thought it might as well be a dock. You have a better chance of fishing there. The dock was not difficult to set up. It's just a little dangerous going down in the water. There was a material nearby. Just carry it over and be done with it. It's just heavier than I thought. Plus Kayla's broken foot. It's going to take a while to move there. Kayla has to take a break every time she walks. I'm afraid she's just going to snap and go home. Dan doesn't know what to say, does he? It's just something she can handle. Having a teammate like Dan around. Otherwise, nothing can be done. No food on Luther's end so far. The stomach is always hungry and growling. Luther is going fishing first. If there is no harvest, we have to hunt nearby. There's a lot of food around here. Do you know Luther's luck? Gas only hates himself for not being able to act. Luther didn't even leave camp when he said he found something. A spider that big. I'm seeing it for the first time. It would be nice to roast. I just can't tell if it's toxic. I don't want to risk a taste. Luther suggested we use it as bait. There's not enough meat up there to fill your teeth. I don't know about gas. Let's hope Luther's back with the fish on the hour. Kayla's foot is getting swollen. It feels like it's going to explode with one squeeze. She didn't expect to feel so bad. Tougher than any previous challenge. For safety's sake, had to get the doctor to check it out. It's worse than I thought. It's okay if it's just a little burn, in case you get infected with something. It's particularly prone to deterioration here. The amputation is a minor one. Kayla listened to the doctor groan. His hanging heart that is cold. She can't go anywhere for a few days. The pressure's on Dan. Kayla was very upset about it. If it doesn't get better in the next few days, I think she's pulling out of the challenge. I hate to see that happen, but you have to be prepared. Probably a long time later, I have to face the challenges on my own. The heart is becoming very anxious. He really wants to finish the challenge with his teammates. Or you could just go live alone in the wilderness. Give Kayla as much rest as possible. Dan does all the work. If he didn't like women, Kayla wants to marry him for the rest of her life. We're going to need a little more time at the docks. When Dan went to collect the materials, spotted a snake not far ahead. You don't know until you bite. Now he just wants to grab it and bake it. The photographer didn't even think of it. I'm afraid he'll make a mistake and swing it. But for one thing, a snake this big, enough to feed 2 people. Definitely the longest catch of any player so far. It could be used as a jump rope. Kayla didn't expect Dan to get food again. I'm really dragging him down. It feels like he's on his own. Can also successfully complete the challenge. Snake is really fresh. They've all been made to move like this. Place in a pan and cook over heat. Hopefully the protein will cheer Kayla up. No one can refuse this delicious taste. It was a pleasure to eat that. Vaz didn't want to stay down. Help clean up this pool. See if we can get something on the hour. There are water lilies all around. He finds it difficult to catch fish from here. I'm going to set up a fishing trap. Just check in every day. He doesn't want to waste too much time here. When my feet feel better, walk along the river and have a look. I'm sure it'll be easier to catch fish than here. I suddenly noticed movement on the fishing line. Gas was ready to sing good luck. I didn't expect the bird to dive straight down. He just took the fish. People really can laugh when they have no words. Man, this empty pool over here. Instead, it became a hunting ground for birds. Do you really have to live long enough to meet anything? Vaz thinks his place is really interesting. If only Luther had just died. Maybe we can hunker down here and hunt birds. Anyway, there's a lot of food here, right? It's just a matter of who can make the most of it. After rearranging the bait, there's nothing left for Gas to do, okay? Go back and lie down and wait for Luther to bring back good news. Luther's side is going further and further away. Doesn't look like there's been any animal activity around here. Make myself quite confused. Better find some poop or something, so he can find out where the animals are. Just heard the sound of running water. It would be nice to meet an alligator. There are a lot of fish here, perfect for catfish and eels. Luther looked carefully in the water. See if you can hunt it with a bow. It was harder than I thought. Might as well get some line and go fishing and be realistic. I'll leave it at that for now. Come back and fish tomorrow when you're ready. The girls have a lot to eat and drink. The goal now is to finish the shelter, especially that roof thing. It has to hold off the rain. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much you fish. Amber thinks she's the one who tells her what to do. 40 days is a breeze, but all the palm leaves around it have been pulled up. Get further away for collection. It takes a lot of time to carry and collect. Trish stayed at the camp and worked. She wanted to finish the bed first, so I can sleep at night. I thought things were going to get better for everyone. I didn't think Jenny would be upset. I almost cut my fingers off. This class of players has been a disaster. Call the doctor right away. I'm glad I didn't hit any bones. But it's also about getting infected. Jenny felt so stupid. I can't shake anything without cutting my finger. The doctor is here. Wash and disinfect first to avoid infection. I'm glad I brought new knives. At least you don't have to worry about getting tetanus. Jenny screamed with pain. My head started spinning. She never expected this. The good news is you don't need stitches. The bad news is that the challenge is over. I'm afraid the fingers have to be protected like this. Now, it's a 100% drag on the team. Jenny wanted to quit the challenge and go home now. Tris doesn't think it's a problem. Isn't there another hand that can move? What if there's another accident? I don't think Jenny can afford not to invite everyone to dinner. Stephen finally got a sighting of the crocodile. If I can catch one of them. If nothing else, there's meat for the week. I've been watching for a long time. He plays here most of the day. Well, there's a lot of food, or you're just craving yourself. Either way, it's good news. Confident we can catch the crocodile. He didn't build those muscles for nothing. Now we're going to set a trap. The bait is an uneaten snake entrails. No crocodile would choose to ignore it. All it has to do is take a bite out of its mouth. This hook is going to work its way into the body. The more it struggles, the more it hurts. You can easily harvest the crocodiles yourself. Easy to say, I wonder how the actual effect is. Does anyone think Stephen has a chance? Vaz, come over here and check the line. As expected, it didn't work out. All the birds in the neighborhood are coming to feed. It's really not a great place for fishing. All Vaz can do is pray for good news from Luther. Just in time for the partner's return. He was about to share a good spot. There's a lot of resources out there. You can even see eels. That's enough for 2 people for a day. It's just a shame there's no sign of a crocodile. It's just a little far from the camp. Luther would rather go and catch fish every day. I don't know if Vaz's body can hold up. After nightfall, Steve was annoyed by mosquitoes. We'll have a partner to share the fire with later. It's hard to get it all together now. The gnats think it's a cafeteria. Won't leave until you throw up. There's no roof to trap the smoke. The gnats come whenever they want. There's nothing I can do about it. It's hard on Kayla too. His feet are swollen like pig's feet. Every now and then a bug buzzed in my ear. The quality of sleep is terrible. I barely made it to dawn. Steve has red spots all over his body. He doesn't even know when it's going to fade. There is no material nearby to put the roof in place. It's even worse when it rains. Although the tree hole can keep out the rain. But the mosquitoes are hiding in there too. I can't accept this. I wish I could go somewhere else along the river. If I could run into another player. And you can lighten your load. For now, we can only raise the bed a little. Try to stay away from ground mosquitoes. I think it's still useless. What will come will come. Where to hide? Kayla was visibly emaciated. How happy she was at first. How bad it feels right now. His feet are so swollen, he doesn't want to stand up. The body is too tired to move. Looks like she's pulling out of the challenge. Compared to previous challenges, it's like hell in here. I can bear it mentally, but the flesh is completely broken. She doesn't want to drag Dan down anymore. Decided to withdraw from the challenge and go to the hospital. Get a cure and get your family back together. The staff came by to confirm Kayla's idea. You can't talk me out of it, can you? And just like that, another contestant is dropping out of the challenge. Dan didn't expect it to happen so soon. He knew what Kayla was going through. I don't want to talk more about what. I hope she gets better soon, even if it's just me. And Dan has to see the challenge through. Kayla felt lighter than ever. Finally, get the hell out of here. People really don't want to come and experience it. A gnat alone would throw you up. Watching Kayla quit the challenge and go home. There's something wrong with Dana, too. He was thinking of completing the challenge together. I'm on my own now. Jamie and Kayla are strong players. I'll say goodbye in a week. I don't know how long I can last. We just have to see if the other players come over here. Dan felt worse the more he thought about it. I couldn't hold back the tears. I don't suppose he wants to go home, too. The challenge must continue. All the pressure is on yourself. I just can't catch my breath. Mosquitoes are even crazier than you think. The show had to hand out mosquito nets to the contestants. Avoid being wiped out by mosquitoes. Now, everyone's rekindled. I'm sure I'll sleep well tonight. Luther's got all kinds of food here. It's more of a snack than a food. Like this palm worm is like a nut. It'll smell even better if you fry it. Luther thought he might as well use it as bait. Wouldn't a big fish smell better than these? Vaz knows that too. I don't think the problem side can catch it. It's good to eat on the hour for energy. Finally, everyone decided to go fishing with it. Vaz's foot is a little less swollen. We can go fishing there later. They also prepared spears. Or you could just go through it. The thought of fish for dinner tonight. The two of them were laughing at each other. I don't know if I'm going to get punched in the face. Their spears look a little rudimentary. Are we sure this is really lethal? The two are ready. It's time to go over there and teach those fish a lesson. Stephen had only one goal. That is to catch the crocodile. And I know it was the alligator, still stuck in a plant. He had to get into the water to clean it up. I didn't think it was a fish. It's good to have meat to eat. It's just the snake entrails. You can't have eaten it all. Clean the fish immediately. We'll use the guts as bait. The fish has a nice smell when cooked. He thinks this kind of life is actually not bad. Donna has adapted to the challenge. All my teammates are gone. It's not the first time for him. I just don't like wet soil. Skin is especially prone to injury when it softens. I'd change places if I could. The best thing to do right now is put something on the floor so we can get to the river. You have to do everything yourself. I'm afraid my body will break down soon. So much for a solo wilderness survival challenge. A lot of things to do on your own. Every break is a mess. The girls need wood and food every day. Trish thinks she might as well make her own bed. She just wants a good night's sleep. Amber thought Trish was being selfish. The bed can be made anytime, and food may not be available every day. It looks like it's going to rain hard. I'm not done on the roof either. With a team like Trish around, Amber's got a really bad headache. Can't you just lie down and win? Jenny doesn't say much. After all, they could leave at any time. There's no need to make yourself work so hard. Trish has got a busy time ahead of her. Amber wants to talk. The bed takes too much time. There's really no need for this. There are so many things to do every day. Trish is only slowing the team down. I hope when I get back from fishing, I see there's plenty of firewood. Luther and Vaz headed for the river. The ultimate goal is to catch eels. The second is to actually order fish. I really want to catch fish with mosquito nets. You can eat any fish for days. Too bad, you can only fish slowly on the line. Although Luther only got a small fish. But it also proves the fish are easy to catch. Gas also successfully caught the fish to eat. Just keep up the pace. It'll fill you up. Suddenly, there are eels in the water. They were so excited. Try using the fish you just caught as bait. If he dares to come and eat a bite, Vaz's spear will pierce it. It's coming, but the spear isn't sharp enough. So I missed the big eel. I'm just going to have to catch some more fish to vent my anger. Just for a moment. They've managed to catch a bunch of fish. Even extravagant enough to use big fish as bait. Is really the gap between people so big. That's a lot of fish at once. I'm afraid I'm going to overeat them. Dan looked puzzled at the vultures outside. Isn't that what you're waiting for? You can't live up to your food delivery. No accident will. It was a straight shot of loneliness. Let's just say we go look at the fishing line. How about that? I wish I had a fish. Funny thing is there's one in the water. Oh my God. Tell me the show didn't throw it. It smells fresh. Dan didn't think it would be a problem. Back to the camp for processing. Enjoy grilled fish alone. It feels so good. All meat is your own. The body that is feeling very moist. Stephen has taken part in 5 challenges. I've touched all kinds of ingredients. I've never seen one this big before. It must be edible. It just doesn't taste very good. Just in time to feed the fish. He believes there must be a fish in love. Use an extra long pole to get through. It was only a few minutes before they said a fish was on the hook. It's just that little bro's got leeches. Boy, I wonder how you got into this. This absorption capacity is really strong. Do you know how much it hurts to rip it off? He dared not open his eyes, hoping it was all an illusion. It doesn't matter how much you pull it. It can only be hot. If that doesn't work, I had to call the doctor. I can't go through that again. Fortunately, the heat will get rid of it. I don't know if I'm bleeding. Or the boy's gonna lose his life. Stephen was a little scared to think about it. Luther's got a fish on the grill. They haven't eaten meat in 5 days. I'm gonna stuff it all in today. The fish is even more delicious than expected. Vaz made a braised fish. The color just looks festive. It's nice to have some meat in your mouth. The gravy keeps spreading in there. This is the joy of survival in the wild. Stephen after the leeches. I'm not in the mood for anything else. All I can think about is my little brother crying. There are mosquito nets available today. People feel much better about that. You're not afraid of mosquitoes coming in and gnawing. It's just Luther doesn't feel well. Found a place to spit out. I don't think it's the fish. Luther was vomiting and vomiting all night. We're all out of fish for the afternoon. I had to call a doctor. Luther didn't expect it to go this far. I was busy until dawn. He's not even conscious enough to answer. Need to get to the hospital immediately. The director was still there asking Luther if he wanted to hold on. All he hates is that he can't move. Or, I want to slap the director. Do we even have to ask? Another contestant is withdrawing from the challenge. There are only 6 players left on the court. Can anyone really do this challenge? Let's wait and see. Everyone else is out there craving alligator meat. This sixer just went and burgled the house. Look at these crocodile eggs. Enough to feed him for days. Mother Crocodile would be crazy if she saw this. I wonder how the eggs taste. Does it smell better than my tea eggs? The challenge is only 8 days old. Stephen felt like his head was going to explode. The team has gone home to enjoy the feast. I have to go on starving myself. I've been looking for food for a long time. I do have an idea about this hollow tree. I thought there was something precious in there. Turns out I was just playing the drums. I think we got what we deserved. Vaz also faced the challenge alone. The team was probably too excited to catch the fish. Get all your asthma out. What can he say? After all, it's not easy for everyone. There's something wrong with my feet. I don't know if I'm going home today. What's his plan, you ask? Nothing more than catching fish and chopping firewood to sleep. Given his size, starving for 10 days is not a problem. Just got a little bit of a taste for crocodiles. Still familiar river. The fish can't wait to get in his mouth. Vaz says don't worry. He's already preparing the bait for the feed. Just a sudden thunderstorm coming. More or less also makes people feel speechless. Start with the whole little fish. It's going to rain and you're not going home. Just stay in your belly tonight. See if we can hang out again. Dan's side is used to doing it alone, getting ready to fix the roof again. If I knew my teammates were moving that fast, just build a smaller shelter. Now, Perfect is really tired. You need to climb high to collect materials. That would be sisters if you fell. I thought it would be okay to be careful. And the ants up there came rushing like crazy. I don't suppose he's trying to feed the queen. Get out of here as soon as you're done with the materials. Oh, the good Lord has thrown a punch. I was really afraid I wouldn't fall. Fortunately, there was no accident. There'd be fewer people left on the field. The women's group has the most people. Food resources are also the most abundant. But there are different voices within the group. Contradictions that are becoming more and more frequent. Like yesterday, Amber said to collect firewood. Triss is going to make that bed if she doesn't listen, resulting in a lack of firepower last night. Everyone shivered with cold. I don't know what to say, you know, if I can get my teammates to leave. She took Trish first. This kind of fun-loving food is hard to get along with. Now it's raining before we start collecting firewood. Trish still thinks it's okay. Now, just collect more points. I don't like Amber telling me what to do. And now it's just Jenny and the other two. How hard it can be to make a fire. Trish says she just needs her hands. There's enough wood to burn all night. If we go on like this, we are afraid of fighting. Gas fishing that is getting more and more skilled. And the fish are getting smaller and smaller. It really pissed him off. Why can't the big fish go home and play? Get home while the rain's still good. Stephen hurried back to the shelter. There's less and less food around. We're going to have to move sometime. Dan took the collected leaves and stuffed them. Waterproof measures have been made both inside and outside. It wouldn't make sense if it was leaking. Suddenly, a tree fell outside. Boy, I'm glad I didn't get out. This is God's firewood. That would have saved me a lot of work. Gas's foot was uncomfortable in the first place. Working in such an environment, it's like torturing myself. If only my teammates were still around. At least you don't have to do it all. Sometimes the fish can be eaten raw. It's a real hassle to deal with. But as you can tell, it tastes even better when baked. This white fish, you don't get a thumbnail when you eat. There's just a little parasite in there. It should be safe once it's gone. More than anything else, you know. Share the joy of sharing. It's a little lonely to be alone. Unless I can get a crock roast. I wonder if anyone got to hunt this season. The girls stay in the shelter and chat. They're guessing how many people will drop out of the challenge, according to their own situation. Maybe someone from each team will go home sick. At least 3 have given up. That's a good analysis, except the reality is harsher. The other teams faced their difficulties alone. I wonder when it all came together. The thunderstorm intensified during the night. The wind keeps blowing in with rain. Vaz felt that it was cold. The shelter is not a very good structure. Not getting wet from the rain. I shall not add this to myself. I think it's exhausting. I barely made it to day 9. Vaz hardly slept at all. It's a little cold when it rains. But at least you don't have to deal with mosquitoes. They started going crazy again after the rain stopped. Now, my body is itching like crazy. It's a similar story on the women's side. The mosquitoes were forced out by the rain. Every day is either being bitten or on the way to being bitten. I'm really going to give Emo his ass. It's wet all around. Steven wasn't in a good mood. See the poles still fall. That's an output for the camera. Let's just say it's very high. Now we need to gather materials to complete the shelter. Try to get a good night's sleep next time it rains. Roof material can still be found. It's just a little tiring to carry. It's going to take at least 7 or 8 trips. That's just a base to build on. To make it waterproof, you need palm leaves on top. It's a big job just by hearing it. That's it for the day. We need to take a break. Trish was freezing last night. It's not easy doing things Amber's way. But the shelter does need to be perfect. Amber thinks there's something wrong with his teammates' brain circuits. You know, you could have backed yourself up. It doesn't hurt to win in bed. Jenny watched the atmosphere grow more and more awkward. She just wants to hide in the corner and not talk. The team seems to be working well together. It's just what it looks like. There are a lot of palm leaves nearby. The only thing left is the high one. If not, there will be an accident. I almost punctured my pectoral muscle. She was a little out of breath in the pain. If it were a male player, I'm afraid the little brother is moving on the spot. The photographer has no skill in this shot. It's all emotion. Getting comfortable with the boys again. Amber doesn't know how to describe it, does she? Just be careful, anyway. Put all this on top. Said to plug all the gaps. Looks like a lot of sunlight is leaking in from the inside. It's going to take a lot of time to get this right. Let's just hope Trish knows a thing or two. Dan didn't sleep very well. Dry inside is dry, but it was a terrible bed to lie in. I had tomatoes before I came. Unload as soon as you're here on purpose. The seeds inside are intact, as long as you handle it well. Maybe a little tomato before the challenge is over. I don't know if that's a foul. Let's just say Dan's got a smart little head. Some seeds have successfully germinated. This would be an important step in changing the challenge. Dude, didn't I watch Wilderness Survival? What brings you to the wilderness farm? Do you know anything else that can do that? Now the mood is so good. I don't think anyone's ever done a garden like this before. He gave a try. If this works, the show's going to have a headache. The dirt around the gas was wet. Walk up that is biting especially carefully. Apart from the fear of falling. And be careful not to get sucked in. It took a lot of work to get to the river. What do we have to do today with a whole fish? Eat small fish every day, don't you want to face? I wonder if it's the rain. The previously active fish are gone. Tell me, you don't even have little fish to eat. The girls have collected a lot of firewood today. Enough to last 2 or 3 days. Amber suggested looking for crocodiles. Even a baby crocodile. There's enough to feed everyone for days. It's a pretty good deal. This side of the pond is full of water lilies. Forget about getting your hands on food, unless you're willing to clean this place up. Otherwise, I have to go far to catch fish every day. That's a lot of energy going back and forth. Amber keeps drawing cookies and saying how great it is. I mean, it kind of freaked out Trish. After a brief discussion, it was decided to build a pier and get the raft out of the way. Even if no crocodiles come over here, you can also fish and eat here. It's definitely better than going to the river. Maybe we can cut this tree down. According to the Pythagorean theorem, we're halfway there. And clear a platform next to it. Then it won't be a problem to keep fish up there. The question is how long it takes 3 women. I'm afraid the knife will be ruined. The worst thing is the angle isn't right. Throw it at the photographer. It's kind of a work-related injury. We're going to take turns cutting for hours every day until the tree falls smoothly. Amber takes a swiveling chop. Cut it down in every place for a while. Not only can reduce the physical consumption, can also adjust to determine the direction of fall. People are very motivated. You don't know what you're saying. It doesn't feel like cutting down a tree, more like chopping up someone nasty. Dan is so tired right now. It takes a lot of time every day to cut and carry firewood. There's another step after the rain. The wood should be dried. It's not going to hold the flame. The challenge is less and less hope. You had to get up at night to add firewood. You really haven't had much rest. In the process of collecting firewood, it's also the process of finding food. I was hoping for another snake. I didn't expect the scorpion down there. You get out of here quickly. Dan wasn't even sure it was a scorpion. Now the soles of my feet are burning. It shouldn't be so toxic that it's life-threatening, but it's painful and numb to walk. It's not a very pleasant look. I'd rather be stung by a bee. This scorpion is quite venomous. The toe is swollen. You have to eat it next time. At night, the animals in the women's group came alive. It's going to make you cry. We should have a bonfire party. Invite them to dance in the fire. I can't imagine how sweet it would smell. I suddenly found a frog walking to my door. You know, this is the Amazon. He's got something to show for it. Trish just grabbed it with her hands. Scared the shit out of Frog. These liquids are not to be touched. I'd have lost my eye on the spot. As for whether it's toxic or not, they're not worried at all, as long as it's cooked anyway. Some meat shouldn't be a problem. The challenge continues on day 11. Trish wakes up looking at the frog. There's no problem at all with the calf strap. There's liquid on the floor from last night. I can still smell it now. It's a good thing they didn't eat it right after they caught it. I'm afraid we're going to get all poisoned and carted off. Where Trish touched yesterday, it's all white already. It could be psychological. It's a little tingling right now. Amber's advice is not to eat the frog. If there is a problem, we won't even have time to get to a hospital. Trish says she's no pussy either. I just thought the frog was ugly. That's how you put a frog on someone else's side. I hope the hand will be all right. Stephen went into the jungle. There's very little visibility. You can't tell what's hidden here. He continued walking in one direction. I didn't expect to find a river. There are a lot of crocodiles here. If only my teammates were still around. At least one person can help. He's been dealing with crocodiles since he was a kid. Know how to cook it best. It's easy to catch. Just keep your mouth shut. It's a chance to have your own barbecue freedom. The women's team decided to speed things up. We're going to take the tree down today. It's already shaking a little. Jenny told Amber to stop. There's a hornet's nest over the tree. Man, if this comes down, I'm afraid the whole crew's going to get stung. That's a long time to be cutting. How can you just give up? Just pray they don't get revenge when it falls. Amber talks every time Tracy cuts down a tree. She really doesn't like it. Or you can do it yourself. Or shut your little mouth and be quiet. The conflict between the two is getting bigger and bigger. It's like two powder kegs. It goes off at one. Trish knows how to cut a tree and redirect it. Okay. You don't need anyone there to direct you. It took a lot of time. I finally heard a crack. We just have to wait for it to fall. I didn't think they'd pull it off. The tree fell down. Question, what about the bees? They're running around like crazy. You have to hit the nest to the other side. Fortunately, the pole here is long enough. Just cut the nest in half. This makes the hornets even crazier. I don't know if I stung anyone. Amber's been whooshing around anyway. Amber was stung somewhere. It's burning everywhere anyway. Teammates rushed forward to clean up. Amber just wants to cool off in the water. The pain is exaggerated. Trish is still making sarcastic remarks. I think Amber brought this on herself. It wasn't supposed to break in the middle. So what do you do with the rest of it? The challenge continues on day 12. Dan will now reignite the fire. The wet material really sucks. Put a lot of time and effort into it. I was kind of optimistic, but been here too long. You know, people are getting emo. We need a change of mood. I hope I can find something to eat. Dan's sense of direction isn't very good. Only that the river is on the right. So try not to turn as much as possible. As stupid as it sounds, but it's the simplest and most effective. And look at the women's side. Today's task is very simple. That is to clean up the hornet's nest. It looks a lot better now. There are still some bees that don't want to go. Fire ants from the trees are also joining in. This bite is worse than a wasp sting. Neither is to be messed with. Can only be tested with a remote attack. Boy, you can't even hit it from this close range. So mad that Trish threw out the firewood. Amber immediately put an end to the ruin. You want to know how long this piece will last? There's plenty more to throw around. Don't be such a jerk. Triss was in a very unhappy mood. In the end, it has to be the long pole. Keep beating hard on top of the nest. There were hardly any hornets in sight. A little too much for the fire ants. You need to be a little careful. Just get the docks built. The days ahead will get better and better. How about we go over there first? Tracy thinks Amber's too confident, even trying to control people's minds. That's not leadership anymore. It should be called bossy. She's taking Ginny with her. Amber, it's not easy being a captain. Stephen, no food found. I found some water vines. These are very valuable resources in the wild. Do not touch directly while drinking, or you get a sausage mouth. The smell of nature feels so good. The expedition was not fruitful. I have to get home before dark. I get a headache just thinking about it. Finally, go around here and see what you got. Dan didn't get much through the jungle. The sun is warmer at higher elevations. The adventure did not go well. Vaz thinks it's getting colder in here. The shelter still needs to be upgraded. He was just about to look good for the camera. I didn't realize fire ants wanted eggs. It lifted his spirits in an instant. Just a little distraction, really. I don't think anyone thought of it. Dan will come to the gas. The brothers were able to come together. Both sides are one man down. This challenge is really not for the average person. They all suspect that the others have been eliminated. Dan thought he could live together. He has succeeded in getting a lot of food. There's also steady access to food from the pond. And most importantly, a tomato garden. It's definitely more comfortable than here. And Vaz needs a partner. Lonely Days oneself is fed up. Old teammates left behind a lot of gear. Take all this over there. Start a new family. Both men are confident of the challenge. The girls will start gathering materials to build the dock. The trees selected this time were easy to cut. Just a quick chop. Triss didn't help cut down the tree. Instead, they're preparing a fishing net. That's a high level of tenacity. Not even piranha teeth. She is confident that everyone can eat until they are full. Jenny's had a good time cutting down the tree. I just didn't pick the right angle. Blocked by other trees. Instead of cutting down another tree. Might as well try to pry it. Amber tried every angle. A little loose, but not much. Two people discussed the meeting and no results. I wish Trish could help with the fishing, so they can continue to dive into the tree. Amber seems to be asking. That's where you give orders. Trish didn't really want to talk. She's going to take care of the net. Amber thought there must be nothing wrong with her. She was too small. In this way, the conflict between the two becomes more intense. Dan took Vaz back to camp. This can be said of all the groups. It's the most beautiful and comfortable thing ever built. Gas fell in love with it instantly. Dan wasn't deluding himself. We're going to stay here and die together. The nearby resources are better than before. He can't wait to go fishing there. Still got to be careful around the docks. After all, gas is a heavyweight. It will be fun to stand on it and crack. Finally gave up standing on the dock. Looks like we're going to have to work on that. It would have been awkward at the gas station. Dan took him to see the tomato garden, even though there's nothing there right now. But they loved the process. The biggest takeaway from this adventure, just being able to get a partner back. I can arrange the heavy work in the future. The challenge continues on day 13. Steven's been poking around, hoping to see something different compared to when we first arrived. That's all the fat we have left. All I want to see right now is a crocodile come ashore. If I could eat it whole, he could be happy for a long time. Suddenly found the wreckage here. If I'm not mistaken, must be the happy home of the crocodile. If they see themselves stealing, it's gonna hit me like crazy. Steven wasted no time groping deeper. A big egg is nice. What happens to egg fried rice? 9 crocodile eggs were found. It's really hard, crocodile mom. Now I'm bringing it back to help hatch it. The perfect place for him. It's either in the pot or over the fire. You need enough heat to hold it. Then he took out some eggs. I hope Mama Alligator comes over. After all, the most important thing for a family is to be neat. Steven will head back to the hatch now. The more Vaz looks at Dan's shelter, the happier he gets. There's plenty of room in there. Everyone's stuff can be on display. The two get along very well. Materials that couldn't be moved before. Now someone can help carry it. He likes strong, powerful men. This wood is a little heavy. Had to cut off a piece and carry it away. although it was said to have the help of gas. But you still have to wear people out. It looks like a surfboard. Now is not the time to lie back. It needs to be cleaned up. That's quite a lot of dirt nearby. Just mix it up and pinch it. That's enough to fill in the gaps. It was done in a moment. The next thing is to catch some fish to eat. The best thing is to put a lot of bait on the hook. Otherwise, it's hard to get the fish. There are currently 4 hooks working. Just 1 fish a day. The challenge is easy. Steven's life now is a comfortable one. You can order crocodile eggs on the hour when you're hungry. You don't need to do anything. Just put it in the pan and cook it. It kind of looks like a bigger goose egg. It tastes like eggs. It just smells a little bit better. It had been a long time since he had eaten such delicious food. You know, it's harder to spot than a crocodile. I have a lot of luck. Triss is going to try her hand at the net. See if he can get the fish out. Amber thinks she might as well use fishing line. She's so inefficient. As soon as you pull it, you say it's up. That's when Triss realized the net was broken. Plus, it was small to begin with. The success rate is woefully low. And the best part is Amber brought a fish to show off. The team atmosphere was eerily quiet. The challenge continued on day 14. The first thing Vaz does when he wakes up is check his fishing line. No surprises, another day in the Air Force. There are a lot of fish out here, but no fish wants bait. Have they become vegetarian lately? I can't count on the fish anymore. Might as well try hunting a vulture. It's hovering right around the trap site. It's not that hard to make a trap. Actually, we drill a hole, then stick the branches into it. As long as a bird wants bait, the noose will grab it right away. Thought that was pretty good. I don't know if the vultures will give you face. Triss thinks she's okay with the idea. Just readjust the gap. I'm sure I'll be able to catch the fish. Amber thinks we still have to finish the dock, or Trish will keep doing it. It is difficult for both sides to act amicably together. Triss doesn't think she's wrong. Now I have Ginny on my side. I think it's more about Amber. Everything goes at your own pace, you know? Sometimes it is really helpless to meet such teammates. Amber can't count on them anymore. She's going to bring the tree down. I mean, it's hard to deal with myself, but it's better than spending time with your teammates. Get rid of the trees that are in the way. A few moments later, I heard a cracking sound. It turns out he was right. The problem is that it is not completely down. Amber's got a really bad headache, and Triss is a cricket in camp. She admitted Amber had some strength, but it wasn't fun at all. Amber just wants to do her own thing. We finally got the trees down here. Triss is not giving a damn about it. Amber was a little too upset to cry. While Vaz and Dan were out exploring, I accidentally found a strange fruit. It tastes a little bit like coconut. It was quite delicious to drink. I wonder if anyone recognizes this. I wonder how it tastes. Suddenly, I heard a noise at the trap. The vultures are just hovering over there. The problem is not landing at the trap. Isn't that bait smelly enough? Finally, the vulture couldn't resist standing up. When it looked like it was going to happen, another vulture moves in. The bait was eaten clean. The trap has to be rearranged. Dan thought if he stayed a few more seconds, I could grab a bough and hunt myself. Let's just say there was a bit of bad luck. Amber felt tired. My teammates didn't listen. I like to do what I want to do. She didn't want to go on like this. I was hoping I could talk to Trish. And no matter what Amber says, Trish doesn't even want to talk. She will complete the challenge at her own pace. No one else needs to be there to give orders. Amber thinks she's experienced. Is the advice not better than yours? Both sides are getting more and more excited. I'm afraid they're going to start fighting. Who knows what will happen next? Let's wait and see. Who would have thought aardvarks would also be on the menu one day? Being held in his hands and unable to move. Even if the desire to live is full. It's just a scratch, that's all. You end up soaking in a pot. The only thing next door is the gator head. It's nothing compared to an anteater. Which one do you think tastes better? The challenge is on its 16th day. Stephen wasn't feeling very well. All the crocodile eggs are gone. Still not waiting for the mother crocodile, so that the family can be neat. All he could do was help with the reunion. If there's new balls in the nest, I am very happy to continue to incubate. There's plenty of room in the belly. I have animal friends who are in trouble. You could talk to each other in there. Don't ask him why he's so nervous about doing something good. Mainly because I don't want to be too high profile. It would be nice to help the mother crocodile. The same familiar nest, familiar egg. This looks a little weak. We need to take it back and save it. Surrounded by dense vegetation. It's a tough way back. Amber's side hasn't given up on the pier. She always thought it would change her life. I mean, there's conflict between the teams, but everyone wants to finish the challenge. So as long as the dock works, I'm willing to work with you for a little bit. Survival of the fittest is more than just adaptation. Teammates have to adapt too, and Trish doesn't want to keep fighting. Listen to Amber for now. That vegetation needs to be cleared away now. That's how we get the fishing area out. Amber can't say much, or else Trish is going to say she's giving orders. If all this vegetation could be cleared away, schools of fish gather together to be eaten, tied up with poles and ropes. Cleaning it up depends on this thing. Put it in the water and pull it back. It worked better than I could have imagined. We'll have a zone in no time. You never know when you're going to catch a fish. Dan is working hard to improve his hit rate. There are too many vultures around. The trap alone is not enough insurance. When they come and stay, even if the trap doesn't work, it'll give him some time to aim. Dan's on fire now. Vaz didn't really care. Well, there's fish to fuel it up, by virtue of their ability to starve. Completing the challenge was no problem at all, as long as there aren't any accidents. Why don't we check the trap first? Although the bird trap is useless, but I got something from the hook, just in time to make breakfast. The fish is stiff a little bit. It still smells fresh, though, whether it's steaming or grilling. It's all very delicious. I don't think it's as bad as Luther. It would be too much to accept to be carried away. The fish is roasted on the fire. Two people will get along very well. If Dan wasn't seeing someone, he really wants to talk to Vaz. They eat fish around here anyway. Why don't you catch a crocodile and eat it? That's enough meat for two people for several days. And with his entrails as bait, it also attracts more vultures. Dan's gonna fight them to the death, thinking about how to optimize traps. If I don't catch this challenge, he was sick at the thought of it. Steve got 18 eggs to hatch, a couple of them a day if you can't. He believes he can make it till the crocodile mother arrives. The desire of a family in order. I haven't forgotten it yet. If you really don't want to come, then he'll have to go back to the nest. Too bad I didn't get my balls back today. You can only put it in your stomach. I'm sure I can get a good meal if I'm so kind. There's a tarantula in the tree next door. That's the best steak in the spider world. You don't know how good it's going to be. Amber's the only one that's been working, either collecting wood or moving it. It's like the holy body of a born bull. I have to say they're really good physically. I still have the energy to drag it into the water. Amber thought we could get the raft in place. This saves a lot of effort, but Trish didn't want to do that. Might as well make it in the water. If there's a problem, we can find it first. The two almost fought over it again. Amber didn't want to argue anymore. Either way, it's just a matter of taking action first. Try to get everything done today. People began to act. Tired is one thing, mainly ants. He's got some new bite marks. I don't want to raft if I can help it. It's up to Amber to lead the way there. Otherwise, the others would have gone back to their beds. Mostly Amber was in a hurry. He's been pushing people to work. It did not take long to arouse the discontent of others. Trish just started yelling, "Why don't you come up and carry it yourself?" Amber said she'd take you to win, like I said. Trish was done in a flash. That's where you yell all the time. I don't want to hear it anymore. Whoever wants to do it can move it. The conflict between the two flared up again. Amber didn't want to put up with it. I think Trish is a fun-loving person. Don't think Jenny will always be on your side. She doesn't have a mind of her own. She just follows the crowd. Even without the help of two people, I can successfully complete the challenge myself. The photographer was very nervous. This is going to be a fight. What angle should I look for? Two people UAIA scold up. The content is very motherly. I'm afraid it's about to be blocked. Too bad the fight didn't end there. Amber thinks her teammates are crazy. If they were stronger, I wouldn't worry so much about myself. Tracy thinks Amber's got a problem. I think I have some strength. You can put people to work there. She wanted Jenny to go along and fight. Can't let Amber have her day. How are they fighting? Stephen doesn't care at all. All he knew was that the night was busy. They're all under mosquito nets. And then there are mosquitoes forcing their way in. You really have to drive people crazy to be satisfied. I can't even squint all night. Dan was sleeping like a baby. What's that noise out there? I've been fighting like hell. If you listen closely, it's not a vulture. Get up at once and go look. But the trap didn't trigger. We ate all the bait. Dude, is that a feed? The challenge is on its 17th day. Stephen awoke to find another patch of red. The mosquitoes here are really poisonous. I wonder if the eggs have been sitting too long. Why does it feel like a preserved egg? I don't suppose there's a problem in there. Is it too late to return the eggs to the crocodile mother? I found the stinkiest one and opened it. The smell is so intense. I almost sent myself away. I guess we need to keep an eye on the expiration date. Now, Dan sees nothing but vultures. Why can't he catch it? Vaz advised not to take such a small matter too seriously. Better find a way to eat fish on the hour. That didn't sit well with Dan. People have no idea how good it is. Is that something a fish can deny? Vaz knew he couldn't talk her out of it. I can only divert my attention to other areas. What did I think we were doing? Turns out he's got his eye on eels. Forget about the taste. It's got more fat than a vulture. The only bad thing is to go back to the gas shelter again. It's good to catch a fish. What if we don't get anything? It's just a waste of time and energy. Dan wasn't very interested. If Vaz wants to go back, still willing to accompany. After a brief discussion between the two, decided to take the gear and have a look. I hope this trip pays off. The past has not been easy, especially the mud that comes after the rain. If you happen to have a cut on your foot, well, congratulations on getting infected. Trish and Amber are getting more and more at odds, and Ginny doesn't know what to say. All she knew was that she was hungry. We should go down to the river and catch some fish. And Amber was already at work. I mean, it didn't work out with my teammates, but still willing to share food. She's not cheap enough to give up on the team. Let's talk about it when Trish figures it out. It can't last till the end. Suddenly, Trish walks over. That means there's more fish there. I'm sure I'll get a lot out of fishing. Amber did Trish a favor, too. Come and see what's going on. The two really don't get along, do they? Amber just dropped the hook to try. Trish said to go into the water and look for fish. Really zero frame, start completely can't stop. If she hadn't been messing around, I'm sure I'd have caught a fish by now. Fortunately, there are fish to return the favor. I don't have to go hungry. And so is Tracy in the water. It's like they're in a race. You catch one, she catches one. After a while, he said there were 6 fish. The most important thing is that the team is back together. I don't know how long this cooperation will last. Dana was gone for almost an hour. Finally back to the river where the gas came from. The fish here are quite active. I can't wait to be caught with my mouth out. Dan is very happy here. Eels may not be found. I'm sure the other fish are fine. Seize this opportunity. Try to fill the bag. I really should have brought the mosquito net. A net thrown down, even if it is directly to achieve the freedom of grilled fish. The old rules let the larvae attract the fish. It's only been a few seconds since we heard something. Looks like these fish are really hungry. It's just bait for Dan. His target was the big eel in the lake. Gas isn't sure where. I've seen it around before, anyway. Now it's just a matter of waiting. The women's group has already grilled the fish. Grease dripped on the fire and sizzled. The scent is going to the cranium. In such an environment, to communicate, not as intense as before. Talking and laughing are very harmonious. Amber still has faith in the team, as long as Trish's side can let go of the stereotypes. You don't have any problems getting along. For her, don't give orders. Trish was willing to cooperate. The women's side is sort of settling things for now. Who knows what happens after that? Gas waited a long time for the eel. Dan didn't want this to continue. How about taking a look around? Maybe you'll find something different. It was a pleasant surprise, just a short walk away. The eel enjoys the sun leisurely. Vaz, bring a bow and arrow now. All I can think about is what's the best way to bake it. The two sides are very close to that. You pick up a bow, an arrow, and you want to blow your head off. I can't believe he actually made it. There's no rush to get it up now. Let it wiggle a little longer. Soon there was no strength to struggle. It's bigger than I thought. The two were a little incoherent in their excitement. At least 3 days without going hungry. We believe there are other eels in the lake. Later the pack can achieve eel freedom. You don't have any seasoning. Are you sure you're going to like this? A big piece of meat anyway. The most important thing now is to get back and deal with it. Otherwise, the mosquitoes are going to be all over here. Wait till the eels are done. If it wasn't for the fear that the meat would rot, it wasn't that hard to eat last week. Steven's alligator balls are falling apart. Heartbroken to build a pier. I hope Mama Alligator sees this coming. This is where a leech bit me last time. I wouldn't want to go in the water if I could. About 6 or 7 meters is enough. The last time we built a bridge, we could use it. It's a bit of a big job. Go down into the water and secure the bracket. I'm going to wear him to pieces. If I had a partner, I can do it all on my own. It's not going to be like this. We have to go back and get the material into the water. After several repetitions, the shape has come out. It's held in place with a constant rope. There's a little bit of shaking when you stand on it. The problem is not very big, able to fully bear his weight. There's room in the back to go deeper. The girls now have to set up the abandoned raft. I believe this will lead to more fish, one that is quite confident. The biggest problem at the moment is aquatic plants. Will gather no matter how you clean it. Plus the gnats were bothering you while you were working. The drier I get, the more irritated I get. I'd love to ask the show crew, why don't you bring the insect repellent? Soon an area was cleared, and throw this wood into the water. In terms of buoyancy, that's perfectly fine. All we have to do is tie the ropes. It looks simple, but it's hard to do. The ants kept coming out. I don't know how many times I've bitten my hands. Watch it float. Inside it was quite happy. There's just a lot of mosquitoes around. Triss was always there to help drive it away. I don't know if it's hard. Amber, try to stand on the raft. Soon said to fall apart and sink. We need at least 2 more for buoyancy. People think there's a chance. Just gather more materials. Suddenly saw a crocodile in the distance. This is great news. Still big enough to hunt. Don't say anything. Drop what you're doing and head for the hunt. Amber used to catch several crocodiles. Now we can use the fish head as bait. The challenge was to eat crocodile meat. She is very confident of achieving her goal. Just to see when the gators get hungry. There's a stream next door that flows into the jungle and connected to the pond near the camp. So there's a lot of room for that. I'm ready for the barbecue. Steven was crying over there looking at the grasshoppers. He's going to use this bait to catch fish. If the egg wasn't broken, I wouldn't be so hungry myself. It's going to take a lot of hard work to finish the challenge. In this state, eat meat. I don't know what will be happy. The problem is trying for so long. Not even a small fish to eat. He wondered if he was being targeted by the director. I wouldn't have thrown those eggs away if I'd known. Dan and Vaz are already smelling the eels. These are going to take a little longer than you thought. It's a little tiring going back and forth, though. But if we catch them every day, Vaz was happy to go. The meat melts instantly in your mouth. Just a smell of flesh. It was incredible. Dan can't think of anything to say. I can eat the meat anyway. The challenge package is half the battle. The mood is so good. From now on, you can enjoy the barbecue till dawn. The Wilderness Survival Challenge is a breeze. And they ate there all night long. Let's get our stomachs big. A full burp smells of grease. I wonder how much meat I'll wake up with tomorrow. They're visibly happy now anyway. I like this happy life. Dan is getting more and more satisfied with gas. The only downside is the rain. Need to take care of the fire. It's not much better on the women's side, is it? The temperature has dropped dramatically. Not even near the fire. Not to mention Steven. Only his shelter leaks. Don't expect to sleep tonight. Just think about not going home. It's important to have a partner in the wilderness. Whether it's helping with the fire or hug together group warm, it's better than being there alone with it. Amber's not worried about the camp. Just afraid the storm's going to hit the trap. Been on Amazon for a while. It's the first time I've seen such an exciting thunder. I'm afraid he's going to kick his own ass. Steven is totally screwed up. I didn't think I'd want the morning so much. Fortunately, the rain didn't last till dawn. It was the silver lining to the bad luck. Probably only got an hour or 2 of sleep last night. Barely enough to hold the heat. Avoid symptoms of hypothermia. It would be nice to have someone here now. The feeling of loneliness is really unbearable. Kind of wanted to find another team. We just don't know where it is yet. Give up every time you get halfway there. Found a little monkey head bone on a walk. That's not good news, is it? In case there's a predator nearby. He hasn't cleaned it in a long time. The stench has already marinated into the body. If that's what it takes. Can only say that their charm is too big. Amber put all the fish heads in yesterday. I was hoping to catch the crocodile today. It's just a rainstorm that upsets all plans. I don't know if the trap is complete. Everyone's heart is very heavy. The good news is the trap isn't broken. The bad news is there was no alligator meat to eat. Now I don't know if it's the rain. Still not enough bait. Amber was in such a hurry. So much investment for nothing. Might as well just go fishing. At least there's meat to eat every day. When Amber decided to give up the gator hunt, see the hook and catch the crocodile. Boy, it really wasn't the end. You don't know what's going to happen. It looks kind of cute. Amber loved it. I can't wait to see it every day. It's just a little too small. But it also proves that traps can be useful. It's just a matter of time. Don't go on talking about it. Get back in there and cook it. They're not listening because they want vlog. Take a good note of the highlight. Let's hope we catch something bigger later. Dan's finished eating the eels. I'm in the best of spirits right now. Try something different. Dan really wanted to swing. The thought of sitting down after work. It really makes it easier. Vaz agrees with that. Start taking action now. It's not very difficult to make. It just takes a little more effort to process. It's like they're on their honeymoon. Dan thought Vass would be a great partner, able to meet their various needs. I hope we can have in-depth communication after the challenge is over. After a lot of busy work, the swing has been made. Dan sat on top, and Vaz pushed in the back. The picture is so beautiful. Dude, make sure this is a challenge. Instead of exchanging feelings, Vaz felt a little lighter. I'm sure you're all thinking, what happens if this swing suddenly breaks? I guess someone's going to be a real sister. The girls are already handling the gators. Be especially careful with the intestines and stomach. If this is damaged, it will contaminate the meat. Ambona has handled several crocodiles. It's a first for something this small. Jenny was glad to have Amber. Otherwise, even a baby crocodile would take a long time. She came here thinking she'd catch an alligator. Didn't think I'd get a chance to help. It was a really amazing experience. The tail must be the most delicious part. I'll cook it on the fire later. Amber remembered the crocodile she had eaten before. Tears have to flow from the corners of his mouth. No one's going to say no to this. Lightly roasted is good enough. Both the texture and the taste. That was really delicious. A little crocodile is so delicious. If it were a big crocodile, that tail must be a double delicacy. Ever since I ate this crocodile meat, the ordinary little fish are a little disgusted. I even saved some meat for breakfast. This little day is really going to enjoy. How happy the girls have been. How hard it was on Steven's side. He also wanted to be close to the crocodile. They've even started making ovens, smoking racks, to keep the crocodile warm in the first place. Very sweet if you like. If we don't catch a crocodile back there. He was afraid the fire would burn out. Steven's got alligator meat on his mind right now. I didn't think about it at all. The double grill has been successfully completed. There's almost meat on it right now. The women's group ate all night long. I thought I'd bake it for breakfast. I didn't realize it was rotten and stinky. It's really hard to waste food like this. Now the challenge has reached day 20. I was happy to have crocodile meat. Didn't expect to rot so fast. This is Amber's big mistake. Tris doesn't even want to talk to anyone anymore. Just hoping to catch a bigger crocodile. The meat stinks to a pulp. We need to throw it far away. No one wants to live with flies. Amber thought she could use it as bait. I have the experience of catching an alligator. This time she's going to make it even better. Crocodiles can smell it for 10 miles around. Steven already kind of wants to fuck it up. 2 weeks alone. I didn't expect this at all. I'm still very hungry. If only we could get some alligator meat. Although I do see them moving from time to time. But by the time I realized it, I was far away. Let's just hope the trap works. Gas here is going to upgrade the bed. Gather some leaves and spread them on top. It must be nice to lie down and see if we can hunt. Dan really wanted to hunt the vulture. Not that it's any good. I just looked at myself and cried. There's an animal path over here. Looks like a capybara. They also have plenty of meat to eat. If you do, you have to learn a lesson. It looks a lot like a capybara's nest. If I guess correctly, one must have just entered the water. It all depends on fate. I looked up and didn't think there was a surprise. It's an anteater. Dude, are you sure this is edible? Two people that is showing greedy saliva. Someone has to go up there and catch it. It's hard to kill with a bow and arrow. Don't look at the gas. Aardvarks are not weak either. There's no telling who's going to crush who. Dan has targeted the anteater where it hurts. Unfortunately, it didn't hit. Voz quickly added an arrow. If aardvarks could talk, it's going to have to be a little sneer. I gave you a chance to lose it. Dan didn't give up the stake. Trying to get up there and chase the anteater down. It'll all be over by then. That's a good point. What do you know? Dan slowly climbed up there. The line of sight is not very good. It can only be accessed through Gas's command. Now the two sides are less than 5 meters apart. As long as you can catch the tail. Too bad he couldn't get any closer. I had to take my bow and arrow and hit him at close range. We're going to hang up if this doesn't work. Aardvark feels a chill in his ass. Now run down and hide. Voz can confirm it's still in the tree. Dan was so mad he stabbed it down with a long stick. That's how I got the anteater into the water. Although it was careful enough. But he still got a claw wound. Call Gas for help right now. Took the chance and slashed it. Finally got the anteater down. Now is not the time to be happy. We need to call a medic. It would be bad if it got infected. The show didn't expect Dan to be this strong. Small blisters have appeared on the wound. Turns out aardvarks have a bit of power. Now Dan is making noise. Kind of regretted hunting it. If the wound gets infected, he could lose it. Do you think it's worth it? Anyway, we're going to have dinner tonight, okay? It has to be cooked well enough to be satisfied. Looks like the good times are really coming. Steven's been praying for the gator. It just didn't work out. Only garbage can value a fish hook. I have to go down into the water to clean up. He'd like to fight an alligator right now. I'm getting a little impatient with hunger. The challenge continues on day 21. The women's group is now eating and drinking. Every day is very happy. Doesn't seem like a challenge at all. More like a vacation. I mean, I had some problems with my teammates. But now it's very harmonious. Work together for the challenge. Now go see if there's any surprises in the trap. Amber thought about catching another alligator. I just didn't expect it so soon. Seriously suspect, it's the little gator's brother. That's a little bit bigger. Call your team for the knife immediately. Just cut it off without thinking. I got another croc in no time. Amber's going crazy right now. Let's just say it's really full of crocodiles. These 2 days can continue to enjoy the feast. If the other players find out, I'm afraid they all come here to learn from Amber. 2 days in a row is quite a stretch to find an alligator. We can have another barbecue tonight. Who would have thought we'd have a problem before? Now that's being a half-sister. Dan and Voz are enjoying their meal, too. That's the first time I've seen someone eat an anteater. I can tell by the looks on their faces. Take one bite and melt straight in your mouth. Dan thinks it's worth a claw. It's so delicious. I could swallow even a few more. Now it looks like Steven's the only one starving. I wonder what else will happen to them. Let's wait and see. Someone who dares to go out in the wild for excitement. How could you cheat on your belly? Look at that crocodile in your hand. This is the third one they've caught. Even got a barbecue for it. Put the meat straight on top. Soon it's the chef's favorite Maillard reaction. No one can refuse this delicious taste. This bite is creamy and smooth. I want to grab one of those. This class of players is really weak. The show had to invite the god over. Have done naked survival multiple times. The team is an epic enhancement. I don't know if you remember them. Jeff caught a giant eel back in the day. Always like to make a scene. It's pretty impressive. I wonder what group he'll join. Matt is also very strong. Just a little bit of bad luck. The foot wound from the last challenge spread infection. I regret to announce my departure. This time he took back his victory. 8 years ago, Edgar completed the challenge here. It was very kind to be back again. Show you what is the strength of the veteran. The women's group is a surprise. There will be new members. Jeff, this labor force is so important. Not just for the heavy work and help with the hunting. The most important thing is this. Having him around at night is a great mood booster. A lot of benefits, so to speak. Jeff is more than welcome to join us. I just came in a little embarrassed. Jeff didn't expect the women's group to be so strong. So far, no one has quit the challenge. He even hunted 2 crocodiles. Do you really think you have nothing to do? I just want my teammates to be gentle with me. At first, no one knew why they were coming. We didn't know until we talked. It turns out that half of the week is gone. No wonder the show panicked and sent for someone. They've seen Jeff in the past. You don't get along well with women. I don't know if I got any better this time. Amber still agrees with Jeff's strength. It definitely makes the team better. If access to food can be stabilized, they don't really need Jeff. And now we're taking some of the food out. I still feel a little uncomfortable. Depends on how much Jeff brings to the team. As far as the information has been explored, we got enough resources here to see them through to the end. Now it's just a matter of seeing how better off you are. I really like this group. There's a good chance we can all clear. Worst of all, Steph teamed up with Edger. I seriously doubt it was to find him a teammate. I'm going to give it to the other team. AJ's a little older, but experience shares the workload. He was satisfied that someone came. Let's see if the addition of Edger changes things. Now Steven was almost in tears. AJ doesn't think it's that dramatic. It's just the first time we've met. I've been here before, to keep my little brother's stomach at ease. I'm sure I'll eat and drink the rest of the day. AJ, throw this cake around. Steven's stomach has calmed down a lot. Dan was very happy to see Matt coming. We're all muscular guys. He thinks it doesn't matter if he wins. I just want to talk to you guys. A two-man bow hunt is not good in the first place. Now we have Matt, a professional hunter. Try to master the bow before the challenge is over. The stuff of wilderness survival. They've all got out. Let's see if Matt can diversify the food. Vaz is looking forward to it. The completion of the shelter is very high. Matt thinks he can stay 100 days. Since everyone's bringing bows and arrows, well, I'm sure he'll be coaching, so that everyone can hunt and eat. After eating eels and anteaters, they hope to catch vultures and crocodiles. What surprised Matt the most was the tomato garden. It's really a very clever approach. He will try the next challenge. Only want to catch vultures every day, does not understand. Doesn't fishing smell good? But since the team wants to see it, be sure to help hunt if you get a chance. The addition of Jeff makes the food seem even less. We have to share. It's a welcome to the new team. Jeff has a lot of backbone too. This alligator meat didn't do its own work. You wipe your saliva and watch people eat it. He was sensible enough to collect firewood. If every man had a life in his eyes, there will be at least half as many family conflicts. Jeff knows he used to be young. It's changed a lot since having kids. I hope I can get along well with everyone. Amber used to go fishing. Now it could be a little easier. The best thing is to catch more alligators. Although it hasn't been long, but it started to blend in. Jeff is confident that he can complete the challenge together. I get to spend the night with 3 beautiful women. It's exciting to think about. I hope my body is as strong as it was when I was young. Every day, just by catching fish. It's hard to keep 4 people fed. We still have to find a way to catch that crocodile. Edger felt cheated. Can I help you with everything around here? I just got the strength to do it. I'll be out of energy in a few days. Set up a shelter across from Steven's bed. The fire in the middle will warm both sides. Make sure the bed is off the floor. Otherwise, the gnats would climb up and kiss. I often build this style. It's just a little bit of a chore to collect materials. Covered with mosquito nets. Everything is fine as long as it doesn't rain. Looking forward to our first night back here. Put the leftover bones and leaves into the pot. After a long time of cooking, it smells very good. If I could just have some more vegetables. The flavors become richer and more layered. Jeff didn't want to eat it, but at everyone's invitation. Crocodile meat on the first night. He's already way ahead of the other 2. It has to be recorded on camera. Jeff is more mature than he used to be. That's the mouth that keeps whispering. Dan's side of the 3 lying in bed chatting. Matt feels a lot smaller when he moves in. Gotta wait till morning to figure out how to build it. I don't know if it's a crocodile. Jeff felt terrible. Zero frame, opened his mouth and spit out. I don't think they're going to give it away in one day. Hope it just doesn't fit in. I think I can get over it. I managed to puke till morning. Jeff felt terrible. Everyone else ate it and got away with it. Jay had the biggest reaction. Amber showed up on the first day. You'll get better with more rest. I'm sure Jeff will get over it. Trish is not so optimistic. I'm afraid it might infect others. We're going to have to carry them all home. Now we just have to set up the fishing line. I hope Jeff gets a little more rest. Try to get everything set up before dark. This success rate is not very high. 1 or 2 would be nice. Steven and Edger are going for a walk around the neighborhood. What about the resources on the other side? Steven wanted to see it before. I just don't want to meet a crocodile on the way. Now I have Edger to cover for me. I was very confident. The 2 men watched the water carefully. See where it's safe to go, compared to crocodiles and piranhas. Steven's more afraid of leeches. I don't want to go through that again. When you get to the middle, you just have to swim. What's going on down there is all the body can do. Fortunately, it's not that far. They soon reach the other side, even though nothing happened. But I'm still nervous. We'll have to swim back later. I hope it's as easy as it is now. Dan's not sleeping very well. There's not much space in there to begin with. It's even tighter with Matt's size. Collect materials immediately for expansion. Actually, Dan prefers something smaller, so everyone can fit together. But since my teammates want to be comfortable, he would have helped build it with tears in his eyes. The smelly mud on the soles of the feet is easy to attract mosquitoes, but it's especially good for shelters. And Matt's not shy about what he does. Climb right up there and build. Dan likes to watch and study from down there. The picture is so beautiful. Photographers know Dan. I got to say, with Matt on board, everybody gets to work really fast. The frame was soon put together. It's just a matter of adjusting slowly. We can all turn around tonight. Things aren't going so well with Steven. There are annoying brambles all around. It's hard to walk more than a few steps. I didn't even see him the last time Edgar was here. It could be worse if it gets infected. Better get some shoes. At least we can block it out a little. I take it back now if I could. Keep going inside, and the thorns will only grow. The army of ants on the ground is also starting to force. That was a pretty tough call. It's like there's nothing I can do about it. Just be careful not to get in trouble. Steven's all about finding food right now. Completely overwhelmed by difficulties. Just walked all that way and didn't see anything. Are we sure there's really going to be food here? I don't even hear any animal sounds now. There's just no time for this. Things aren't getting any better with Jeff. Spit out everything from yesterday. Amber, they don't know what to say, okay? Call the doctor for a few shots. Sickness cures illness, but absence makes health strong. The show is also worried about the contestants. Arrange for a doctor to check it out. Jeff thinks it's the alligator meat. Why else would you throw up like that? But everyone else is fine. The doctor's advice is to drink plenty of water and rest. If things get worse, might be forced to withdraw and go to the hospital. Jeff thinks it's a quack. You could just get a shot of antibiotics. Amber's not just fortifying the shelter now. And I want some padding for the mattress. I want all kinds of things. This is where the material is rich enough to meet. Anywhere else, you'd still be on your way. People think Jeff's not as strong as he used to be. She said she wasn't feeling well the first day. It's a development the writers wouldn't dare write. If you came here and ate crocodile meat, what did you do? I feel like I can do it. Maybe the show's looking for a new contestant. I hope he gets better after the rest. We can't slow the team down like that. No one wants to feed and take care of people all the time. Triss is all set to kick someone out. But judging by Jeff's feisty nature, he may not even be able to accept that he chose to go home. Now we have to work harder to get food. Only by filling the stomach can we have resistance to protect ourselves. We're going to have to leave Jeff to his own devices for now. The challenge continues on the 23rd day. Matt's going hunting around here. The neighborhood looks pretty ordinary. It doesn't look like an animal frequents it, unless we look further afield. Otherwise, you shoot bird from the shore. I found a place to make a cover. The location has a nice view. It's just a little bit more ants. Dan and Vaz are still perfecting the shelter. I hope I see Matt back with food when it's done. Palm leaves are a little boring to weave. That's where the process is repeated. But the shelter looks pretty good when it's done. You don't have to worry about leaks even in a rainstorm. I'm sure Matt will love this shelter. I don't know how long it took. Matt was a little disappointed to come home empty-handed, but it's understandable. After all, the first time is not very familiar around. You have to watch the line when it counts. On a good day, we catch several fish. Small is a little small, but it's enough for everyone to taste. It's breeding season right now. The fish in the water will go further away. I'm afraid it's going to be a little hard to eat. Matt knows that if he doesn't make a difference, the team's going to have a really hard time. But once again, the roe is really good. They just love the fresh taste. I wonder where all the fish have gone nearby. You don't want to move somewhere else. Ajay found a lot of birds here. Maybe we can make it up on the hour. Steven didn't know how to use a blowgun. Edgar says it's pretty simple. Let's see how I shoot the bird, okay? He can't wait to find birds to eat. Steven thinks there's too little cover here. You need to set it up yourself. After a brief discussion between the two, decided to split up. At least there's a better chance of getting food. Who do you think's gonna get the food first? Steven mainly wanted to see snakes there to eat. Dig as far away as you can. What he didn't expect was this. You'll find a bunch of mushrooms. That's enough to keep us going for a while. Why didn't you see it before? Mushroom soup on the hour tonight. Edgar looked at the birds jumping about. The saliva is going to run off. There is some distance between the two sides. Blowguns won't be used well. Lung capacity and hand stability are important. Exhale as hard as you spit. That's almost too much. It turns out Edgar is getting old. I mean, they've all eaten meat before. Stefana has cooked mushroom soup. I'm just wondering if I can see the little people after this. Ajay doesn't care at all. More than anything else, you know. There's plenty of them out there anyway. I don't have to worry these last few days. They didn't expect to taste chicken. I thought it was real if I didn't know it. Is this the legendary method of spiritual victory? The challenge continued on the 24th day. When Jeff joined, food became scarce. Plus, he wasn't feeling well to start with. People are starting to get a little sick of it. I hope he gets better soon. Waiting to be fed every day is not an option. Amber thinks we still have to catch the gators. That's what keeps everyone fed. Just came to the fishing line and found a surprise. This is clearly a crocodile catch. Why don't you show Jenny how to hunt? It wasn't hard at all. Just keep your neck under control. Under Amber's tutelage, Jenny can catch a crocodile without a hitch. The mood is so excited. This is my first time catching a crocodile. It was amazing. Tracy didn't expect her friend to catch a crocodile. It really is to refresh their cognition. This is the third crocodile they've caught. People think it's because there are too many crocodiles, or because their bait is so attractive. Jeff didn't expect this team to be so strong. I'd love to win if I could. There's meat to eat again today. Jeff is going to show everyone how to cook. I used to hunt myself and give food to others. Waiting to be fed here for the first time. Built a simple grill. That'll cook the meat on fire. It's going to taste better than in the pan. Matt's still trying to find his prey. There are more birds than crocodiles. Stay out of the way and approach slowly. Shoot it in before they see it. The difference between the two sides is quite a lot. Just another wasted arrow. Matt thought the bird was too small. If only Van could be a little bigger. I'm sure I can hit it. It's a good thing there's a slower one left. Yet it was the same. Matt's still a little out of place here. Or at the previous level. You can hear the cheers from your teammates already. Dan and Vaz are exploring the area, hoping to find something different. They weren't really looking forward to Matt's hunt. You have to do it yourself when it counts. There's plenty of fruit on the ground to eat. These would be great to snack on. The gators are sizzling in the women's group. The fragrance that is constantly coming out. Who can resist such temptation in the wild? Mainly to make sure the meat is completely cooked. All they could do was watch and drool. Jeff really wants to contribute to the team, but the body is a little difficult to recover. Already feeling a little nauseous and dizzy. I'm afraid after he eats the alligator. Then he hid away and threw up. Anyway, it's good to have meat, okay? Crocodile meat is different every time you eat it. It's even more delicious when cooked. It just takes a little bit longer. Need to continuously add firewood observation. Jeff was afraid to take too much. Keep yourself in a half-full state. I hope it gets better in a few days. Ajay heard a turkey in the jungle. He thought blowing the gun was almost funny, with a bow and arrow in my hand. 100% on target. I think he's just bragging. Other strong people never complain about this. Edgar's mind was tangled. I like to grill or boil later. As we go deeper and deeper, the turkey's voice became clearer and clearer. They're bouncing right up there. The distance between the two sides is a little wide. Better to wait until they come down to feed. Looks like we're going to have to squat by the river and gather some firewood to burn. Suddenly, there's a poison frog. The natives smeared venom on the arrows. Even if it's just a scratch, can make the prey act rigid. Now we can't let anything go. Cut down a section of the tree for processing. We're going to use these to get it off. The capture must not touch the skin. What if something goes wrong? Pick it up gently like this, and then we can hook him up and kill him. Make the poison frogs so comfortable they don't want to leave. That's enough to last me a while. Matt still didn't get anything today. Vaz thinks this guy's 50-50 with him. Strength cannot be said to crush. But in terms of luck, I'm so much better than Matt. And give him some fruit for nutrition. Matt was glad to have good teammates. It's very comfortable to get along. I have to work harder. You can't keep letting people feed you. Amber was hoping Jeff could do something for her. Help get this tree down. How could they have pushed before? Jeff came in and made it work. Sure enough, the body is weak again. In terms of strength, is also better than them. Now the raft can float smoothly. There's no problem with 3 people standing on it. Now we can explore further afield. It's just a little hard to clean the plants. Amber wanted to make a quick road. Triss didn't want to waste her energy. The two sides quarreled about it. It stopped a few days ago and it started again. It's a little delicate right now. Jeff's body began to fray during the night. He felt colder than ever, not even near the fire. Worst of all, the stomach starts to work. Vomiting and vomiting all night. You can't be allergic to the alligator meat here. If Jeff keeps this up, I'm afraid my life is in danger. Thinking of calling the doctor. Jeff didn't think it was a problem. I feel better after I throw up. I'm hungry for thunder. Steven hasn't eaten meat in almost a week. I hope Edgar can help. No more hunting. Let's go to the river and catch some fish. Although they're all relatively small, but in enough quantities. It's also something to keep people fed. Edgar knew his partner was in a hurry, but there's no hurry about the food. Suddenly, there's a turkey over there. To be able to hunt successfully, he was adding a little poison, as long as it hits the target. A few minutes is enough time to knock it down. The problem is Edgar hasn't started yet. The turkey flew up to the tree. You can't hit your target even if you try. The mood is fretful. Jeff feels a lot better already. Can help the team collect materials. I'm just hungry when I don't have enough in my stomach. The shelter's leaves have begun to wither. Add dots to it every day. Amber came out and let Jeff try his hand at fishing. 2 crocodiles were caught here. You can see fish every day. Jeff recognized it instantly. This is the electric eel's favorite environment. If we find a cave, we'll find it. Amber made a little fun of her teammates. They have no sense of cooperation at all. I like to do my own thing. What can Jeff say? Take care of your health first. Then we can help the team. The conflict between women should be ignored. It would be bad to get caught in a fire. Matt is really out of reach. We have to change the target to a larva. How can these be proteins? It'll give you some energy. That's what it tastes like. I'm glad I can keep it down. Gas has been working in the water. Suddenly, there was a noise. Call everybody over here now. I didn't realize a crocodile got lost. Matt didn't even think to shoot it in the face. Unfortunately, it didn't hit. Not even this close. Not at all his usual level. I guess I got a pretty high rating. I feel like I can do it. They missed the target anyway. Now the gains are less and less. Maybe we should take a look at the deep end. The best way is to build bridges. This is the only way to ensure safety. Matt can't hunt right now. He's got a lot of experience with gate construction. Just need enough material. It won't even be a problem to set up a platform. It's a big gamble. If there's no food to eat after it's set up, people are going to faint on the floor from hunger. Steven knows all too well what it's like to be hungry. I haven't had meat in over a week. The whole person was emaciated. Now I'm dreaming about catching a crocodile. Try to sound attractive. I can't believe one actually showed up. If we don't get any food over here, then they'll have to move. Matt's starting to build the dock. Fortunately, there's more material around. There's nothing wrong with collecting it, okay. They're not worried about being attacked in the water. If it's that active, I would have picked it up and roasted it. The pace of construction is not very fast. Try to get the bridge done today. Triss is busy making new doors. Teamwork was broken in the first place. I didn't realize Amber was setting people up again. Jenny was very unhappy about it. Can't you see you're still busy? Jeff just said he'd do it himself. Amber was so angry she didn't know what to say. They just want to fix the door first. It's not like we're not helping. I just don't want to take orders from Amber. It ended on bad terms. Amber thinks her teammates are fighting again. I don't look at who's providing the food. If I quit, let's all dig and eat. Jeff listened to Tracy and Jenny's complaints. They have a very strong opinion of Amber. I'd rather take Jeff's advice. I don't want to listen to Amber's bullshit. That's why women are so hard to reconcile. Jeff doesn't want to be attacked either. Just listen to them laugh. Tracy doesn't think Jeff likes being ordered around either. So we have to stick together. We can't let Amber do this forever. Dan sighed to set up the deep water platform. The body is too weak. Take a break every minute. I'm afraid they're going to break their bodies. I was at work when I noticed a bird taunting me. Matt took the bow and arrow and tried again. It's a familiar recipe. The difference is quite a lot. You shouldn't expect anything from his bow. Even if you're optimistic, you have to be quiet. Stephen was hungry enough to doubt life. The fat has disappeared from the belly. In order to get something to eat, he went looking for some good bait. I hope we catch a fish. I don't know if he's bad at it. It's still hard to catch fish here. Tried many times without success. I'm so mad I want to pump it all out. Ajay suggested a change of venue. There really is no future here. Amber managed to catch another fish. The technology is actually possible. Today you can have some fish soup to moisten your intestines. She just wants her team to take care of the fish. And there was no response. I was so wronged. How did you meet a teammate like that? No gratitude at all. Is this sign more important than the food? Jeff was the only one who stepped in to help. I don't really want to do it. Just don't want to see the line fight. He didn't think Amber was fit to lead. No one's listening down there. When I feel better, Jeff intends to overthrow Amber's leadership. Lead the group to complete the challenge. The challenge is on its 27th day. The bridge is beginning to take shape. Now we just need to get the platform right. Dan was exhausted. We have to stop and rest, or you'll faint on the floor sooner or later. Edger, they're moving today. There are so few resources here. Follow the river to Narrow Point. In theory, there will be more resources. Pack your things immediately after a brief discussion. Edger even had time to knit a hat. He looks kind of handsome. We can't go on gossiping. Try to find a new place before dark and get the shelter set up. I wonder if they'll run into any other contestants. Being able to cooperate is also a good option. Edger was very worried about Stephen. Working so hard all the time. You don't even know how much energy you have left. It would be bad if it broke down. Dan's just taking a little break. I didn't expect my teammates to have the platform ready. He went to check the condition of the fishing line. I didn't expect a surprise. You could catch an electric eel that way. Small is a little too small. But in this situation, a little meat is pretty good. It's just a little bit of cooking and it's cooked on the fire. I haven't smelled meat in a long time. How do you feel so happy eating? It would be nice to have a little more meat. Stephen, they were tortured along the way. It was so hard to get to a new place. The problem is the palm leaves are on the other side. Now we have to swim to the other side. I was already weak. If there's a crocodile or something, I'm afraid I don't have the strength to resist. I don't know how much longer they can hold out. Let's wait and see. Others can only eat fruit in the wild. They're different. I get a cramp in my hand from fishing. I spent the whole time there grilling fish. Sometimes the bullfrog on the hour to replenish the body. If that's all you think you're going to eat, well, that's a little underwhelming. Look at the size of the anteater. An arrow straight to the heart. A pot of stew will fill you up. And to top it all off, even the pythons. It takes 3 people to pick it up. Make sure this is a challenge. Instead of lining up to stock up, Amber went for a spin in the jungle. I can't believe she found a new teammate. It'll give Edger a fright. I thought it was some kind of belladonna. Stephen lit up at the sound of the girl's voice. Just hug first anyway. The shelter was only recently completed. If Amber had gotten here a few days earlier, she wouldn't have seen anyone. Just in time, Amber saw how sweet they were. I'm a little embarrassed to bother you. Thinking of his former teammates. That's a lot of fun. Jeff was infected when he got here. Just say go home without doing anything. This shocked them both. Jeff is no ordinary player. An experienced starving man in the wild. I didn't expect to be eliminated. Amber talked about Tracy and Jenny again. The telegram never stopped ringing. I don't know what they're calling you, but look how stunned they both are. You can imagine how dirty it was. Amber finally got the last few days out of her system. Steven said there was no need to say anything. Welcome to join the team to complete the challenge. You need people like Amber to go fishing. Strive for everyone to successfully complete the challenge. Edgar didn't say much, did he? But very understanding of Amber's situation. Giving up resources to come here alone. It takes a lot of courage. This reconstituted team, do you think you can do the challenge? The challenge came on day 31. Matt's been hunting for 2 big birds ever since. It's a windy walk now. I spent every day in the jungle skimming data. One of the more promising catches so far is the capybara. That meat makes my mouth water. Vaz is sure the challenge is okay. It would be better if I could eat full every day. Otherwise, this platform is useless. Unfortunately, the harvest is so little. Dan is satisfied with the challenge of the field. It's just that tomatoes grow a little slow. It feels like the challenge is over. It's actually pretty good. Don't waste your time to fertilize every day. Maybe we should get our teammates to help. How about we try the tomato plants then? Trish is going to be a lot happier. Every time I think about Amber leaving, the corners of the mouth are harder to press than AK. The only problem now is, with Amber gone, there's no steady source of food. Jenny doesn't think it's a problem. She still believes in Trish's strength. Actually, it's Amber's fault. Must have been too much fishing. And now, they're all going somewhere else. Dude, I can't admit I'm a food. The more they think about it, the angrier they get. We're taking Amber's bed apart right now. Burn the bad stuff. Jenny says it's simply a rational use of resources. I hope Amber doesn't think anything of it. Tracy came to the river. She doesn't believe fishing is so hard. Keep swinging the hook and pulling the hook. The fish didn't get it, but dropped itself. That's a tough mouth for Trish to deny. Let's see how Amber fished here, huh? Let's go to that familiar creek over there. Let's see how many fish we can get today. And Ajay wandered off somewhere else. Steven is very happy here, as long as we use it properly. Eat and drink well every day, especially now that the water's gone down. Fish stocks are even richer. It takes no skill at all. Really, Hook has a response. You don't even know what the Air Force is. Amber thinks this is the life she wants. No more fishing alone. I literally made myself cry. It's impossible to stop fishing these days. One by one on the shore. If I could get a gill net down here. I can't imagine how much fish I can eat. I knew things were going so well here. Amber should have quit the team a little sooner. Their happiness, Edgar is not able to experience. All I know is that it's really annoying. There's no sign of any animal activity. Even bird calls are rarely heard. Seriously doubt the resources are going to the fish. Nothing more than thorns. I'm afraid I'm going to puncture my feet. There's only one word for Trish's side. Jenny was busy gathering materials to perfect the shelter. Fantasize about Amber leaving. Hold on to Trish's thighs and eat and drink. Happy to finish the challenge and go home. I didn't realize my leg was at home. Trish has lost her power. A little stung by the fishing failure. It really is no comparison, no harm. Maybe you regret kicking Amber out. Matt finally got a hit here. The barbecue was sitting in the tree. Direct, zero-frame, hand-aim shooting. Dude, I didn't even see what was going on, okay? Next thing you know, it's in your hand. Matt doesn't know what it's called. It doesn't look like it's woven. Take it back to roast and study. If you think hunting is easy, you're wrong. The cameraman was carrying a camera. Walked with Matt for hours. That's how you get a hunting shot. He wants to switch jobs with his fishing buddy. You go hunting every day, you fuck emo. Look at Matt's excited to get back on the hunt. I suggest the photographer find a factory to make screws. Dan thinks Matt's getting better looking. I like to be with a strong, attractive man like that. The mood is not to think bad. Compare Edgar's hunt to Matt's. It's like brushing your steps in the jungle. You didn't find anything. Might as well go back to fishing. There were 7 or 8 in one trip. You can imagine how beautiful the whole thing looks. Steven thinks Triss and their brains are fucked. Amber's too strong to squeeze her thighs. I really don't know what you think. They're getting along very well now. As long as nothing unexpected happens. Completing the challenge is not that difficult. Just see if you can make it more comfortable. Otherwise, eating fish every day will throw you up. It's better to diversify the food. That's all for later. I'm so excited right now. It is impossible to starve. Trish is still out there struggling. Is it so hard to admit to yourself? Try to catch fish after optimizing and upgrading the net. She felt she was on the right track. I blame Amber for being there in front. It's only now that we have time to process it. Jenny still has some faith in Trish. Since Amber doesn't think it's a good idea, now it's time to prove it works. Record it so you can punch Amber in the face. Trish is here again, sadly. It looks like a lot of little fish. She set up a barrier to get in the way. There's only one way for them to go now. If that doesn't catch you, go to Amber and apologize right now. I hope Jenny can stop it. Everything is ready. It's time to show the real tech. How do you put this? It must have worked. It's just that it's really useless. Even inside, you can break free. So there's meat to be had. I'm afraid they're going to starve again today. Trish said it was okay to copy the net. My partner's holding me back. Jenny didn't hear that, still saying that Tracy was a genius. I'm sure we can catch a fish. If they were half as strong as Amber, I wouldn't still be there and hungry. Look at Amber's grilled fish dinner. I'm satisfied just to smell it. Ajay was very pleased with Amber. After she joined the team, the challenge is to get smoother and smoother. I can make it to the end by fishing alone, help each other, and work together for challenges. This is the life Amber wants. Who is Trish? I don't even know who she is. The rat that Matt hunted. This is all that's left when it's cooked. Everyone's just trying to satisfy their cravings. But when you say it, the taste really works. The meat has a sweetness of its own. It feels like honey. If only there were more meat. I hope Matt could do a little more. Strive for the freedom of barbecue every day. Amber is happy working with a new team. It's not like when you were doing nothing, you know? She had a surprise on her way to fetch water. Call your team for help immediately. You can't move when a snake is staring at you. Steven got there in time to fix it, or Amber's gonna eat it and spill it in the river. Long-lost snake meat is indeed a delight. Don't ask what it tastes like when it's cooked. It's 100% chicken. Day 32 of the challenge. Vaz feels that hunting is not very stable. It's all about getting fish. That's a lot thinner than when we started. The muscles are not holding up. It's been so good up front. How bad it feels right now. There aren't many fish in this area to begin with. It got a little better after we built the platform. I can't believe I'm in trouble again. Vaz suggests looking further afield. I'm not making any progress staying here. Matt thought the idea would work. Maybe we can take a look across the river. There's a lot of unexplored places out there. After a brief discussion, take action. First, we cut down the trees to make the raft. Not only can increase buoyancy and reduce physical exertion, you can also put tools on it to carry. It's big enough like this. Get in the water immediately and try. It worked much better than I could have imagined. There are a lot of dangers in the water, though, but as long as they swim fast enough, then the danger will be one step slower. No surprise, no danger smoothly to the other side. I was worried it was a waste of time. When I saw the footprints of the capybara, they knew it was worth the trip. Not far ahead is the stream. The footprints on this side are even more distinct. Matt was instantly excited. It was as if I could smell the roast. Dan hasn't eaten it in his whole life. I'm so excited that tears are coming down my mouth. One can feed 3 people. Plus, there's a lot of footprints here. I'm sure the numbers won't disappoint. Trish was really upset about that net. It was perfectly woven. I don't know why the fish can still break free. It's obvious that you can have a problem. Then Jenny didn't handle it well. I hope she finds it easy. Don't mess up the catch again. Concentrate on driving the fish to the net. This time Jenny saw the fish coming and it was a stick. And don't tell me it worked really well. When they're thinking about steaming or braising, any fish caught in a muddle can escape. Turns out Jenny just couldn't get up. When Trish was about to go wild, Jenny caught the fish again. The stick kept hitting the head. If it can get away with it, it's good. The 2 men began to irrigate again. I don't think Amber's that great either. It's easy to catch fish. Think about where you went after the challenge. They're guessing Amber hasn't set up the shelter yet. I don't know where you're hungry. I wish I could get her some fish. Maybe they're all home for dinner. I envy Amber getting home early. That's a pretty thought. Life is good over there with Amber. Fishing is just a basic operation. The goal today is to find electric eels or crocodiles. Make the menu a little more varied. Stephen and Amber's success got Edger a little worried. I hope I can contribute to the team. I'm not here to win. What do you have to do to win a hunt? Otherwise, there's no face to eat fish. Amber didn't really care. Hunting is not as easy as fishing. Maybe the challenge didn't end well. You can only do what you can with these things. They caught as many fish as they could. Let Edger have no worries. In general, electric eels prefer to hide in waterways. Some of the big holes are dug by them, and Ajay just wanted to see if there were any nearby. One can last for days. I was wondering how easy it was. Then the electric eel will slap him in the face. Are you sure it wasn't one of the staff? Edger calms down a lot when he spots his prey. Make a splash to attract the eels. It did not resist temptation. You're just swimming up here to join the fun. It's time for Edger to take a chance. It's a lot of power in an instant, but he's been practicing for 2.5 years. I mean, that's just a mild. It's not easy. Let's see how big it is. And there's nothing. Boy, it was just Edger dreaming. It's scary to sleep with your eyes open. What are you going to do? Just keep trying. Matt actually prefers the bigger ones. If truth were in hand, all bears would be useless. A bow and arrow can only do so much damage. I mean, I can do it with a little animal. The water ahead starts to get bigger and bigger. It looks clear. The problem is I didn't see any fish. It's not as fish as camp. The mood was instantly down a lot. Dan still wants to try fishing. Maybe the fish are just hiding. His teammates weren't too impressed. I didn't expect to get hit in the face right away. There's still fish to be caught here. I don't think it's all under there. Dan's getting smoother with his fishing. This place still has a chance. I don't know if it's going to last. Triss is about to start the feast. That's all the meat is. They just want to feel like they're eating a fancy meal. The scent of fish doesn't match Amber's freedom. Have a good time there. I'd love to have Amber back. There's no one to judge. They can also live comfortably. It's just a little bad when it rains at night. A lot tougher than I've seen before. Everyone's shelter has been upgraded. In theory, there should be no problem. Only Trish's side was wet. This is what happens when they don't listen to Amber. He was there all night trying to keep the fire alive. The mood is so low. Is this storm going to destroy them? You don't know how you made it to dawn. A lot of gaunt visible to the naked eye. The rising water level disrupts the layout. The food just goes deeper. I'm afraid it's harder to catch fish now. It's hard to starve yourself until the challenge is over. They don't have the energy to rearrange. You can only explore down the river. I was hoping I could find something to eat. Otherwise, you might run out of energy ahead of schedule. Do we have to do it anyway? Walking speed, that's pretty slow. I feel like I'm going to faint on the floor. Lucky to actually find something to eat. They don't know what fruit it is. I was going to try it. I didn't expect ants everywhere. They'll rush up and bite at the first touch. Is it really that good? The locals call it the jungle tomato. Not only is it not toxic, but it is also very nutritious. If there weren't too many ants, they really want to eat it all. Triss takes the most robust approach to inspection. It smells good. There was no allergic reaction, just a little too sour. I'd rather eat lemon raw than this. Really don't eat there without suffering. Amber took a walk in the sun. The teammates are busy looking for food. Boil some more water before they get back. This is teamwork. The previous one was a charity case. She thinks Triss and Jenny are up to the challenge. But it must have been very painful. Edger was either walking on thorns or in the path of thorns. Sometimes I wonder why. The team won't blame themselves anyway. But I still want to try again. Maybe it's all in here. See if the electric eel comes by. Edger also found traces of human activity. Tell me they didn't take all the eels. I can't keep thinking about it. You need to concentrate on your fishing. Although the hunt never worked. But there is some skill in fishing. It's no use trying to fill this fish. He had fate by the throat. Don't think about getting back in the water. Wait till you get to your belly and pop. Steven strolls around for a long time. I finally saw a frog. I didn't even think about it. I started sprinting. How can a four-legged frog be faster than a two-legged ox and horse? As soon as the camera zoomed in, we saw the horror. That's a bit of a stretch. Direct hand contact is not recommended. Who knows what the epidermis secretes? Today's harvest is quite rich. I just can't fill my stomach. But it's a good start, enough to prove that the surrounding resources are sufficient. Keep up the hard work, and you will surely pay off. Matt was too busy collecting firewood to go hunting. I didn't expect the anteater to come and challenge me. Go back to camp and get your bow and arrows. He's still up there enjoying his meal. We're a little out of range. There's no time to think that much. Matt raised his hand, aimed, and shot into position. Direct hit to the chest to arrange cremation. I wonder if you understand the gold content of this arrow. It's really the feeling. I can't stop it. Dan didn't expect to eat aardvarks again. I had to call a doctor for the last scratch. That's more and more love for Matt. You have to have a good, deep conversation at night. Take the time to get rid of the anteater. I have to say his touch is getting better. Who would have thought of all the feeding operations in the beginning? And now they're starting to rule the wild. Amber watched her teammates bring back food. The mood is so excited. Is a bullfrog that big really serious? AJ's fish look far worse in comparison. Amber prefers bullfrogs to bullfrogs. Either one tastes good when cooked whole. It's a rare combination of grilled fish and grilled frog. It smells faintly of chicken legs. The fly in the ointment is not much meat. It's barely a mouthful. After roasting, the frog legs are charred on the outside and tender on the inside. Smells like chicken. It tastes more like normal food. It was amazing. Is it true that everything tastes like chicken? The challenge lasted 34 days. Dan started eating meat when they woke up. This is the second time I've eaten an anteater. It's kind of like beef with a little chicken. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just something to eat and to talk about. There is meat to eat in the wild. After all, it's already a very happy thing. The anteater simmered all night. Flesh and bone separation is just a basic operation. The grease on it is the treasure. It makes the body last longer. Gas was silent and just put in his mouth. You can only eat it here. It really is a meal less than a meal. I wonder if it's okay to eat more game. If you get infected with something, it's all over. Look at their happy faces. I guess I have to eat before I leave. It's even worse with Trish and Jenny. You have to do everything yourself. Amber should have stayed. I'm a little bored, but there's nothing wrong with doing things. Trish doesn't want to go exploring right now. Just lie there until the challenge is over. Jenny knew it was time to take matters into her own hands. She still has the energy to find fruit. I've found a lot of broken ones before. We can only hope for the best this time. Let them succeed in the challenge. If Jenny can fish, life can't be this bad. Actually, Amber was teaching it from the beginning. Only she didn't take it seriously. You're all right now? It's just luck. I didn't think I'd go around and find it. They really don't deserve to be hungry. Jenny picks out what's still edible to take home. A bag full enough for 2 people to throw up. Matt's not full yet. I'm afraid we have to lick the pan clean. He was satisfied with his first taste of anteaters. It tastes even better than I thought. The joy of survival in the wild is that simple. The relationship between the 3 became stronger and stronger. Matt thought the anteater was a surprise. He still wants to hunt alligators and capybaras. Either way, it's a great treat. Dan and Vaz were supposed to be done in 40 days. Matt's been in the next room for 60 days. Well, now we're eating and drinking. Not so much fun going back. That's really good advice. They're in good shape and Matt's hunting, let alone 60 days. It feels like 100 days. The next challenge may not be so smooth. Look at them still hesitating. I want you to find another one right now. Only 8 people have done 60 days so far. Is 40 days enough? And let's not say they're having a crush. Maybe we should keep it steady. We'll think about it after 40 days. Matt was in a hurry. Turn on all kinds of rainbow farts right now. Tell them they have strength and strength. It's a shame to leave in 40 days. And don't you see the fruit of the tomato? Matt has a point. They did not hesitate to challenge for 60 days. It would be a crazy choice. If this fails, Matt has to pay for it. Jenny came back with the fruit. It looks okay inside. It's sour and sweet and kind of like first love. I just don't feel full. You really get hungrier the more you eat. If only there were larvae in there. At least it'll give you some protein. They don't know how many they ate. The stomach is a little quiet. Edgar wants to take us to the pond we found yesterday. There's going to be a lot more resources out there. An electric eel you can't catch yourself. I left it up to my teammates. Steven and Amber are looking forward to it. In the wild, no one is averse to more food. The best thing is electric eels and crocodiles. The only uncomfortable point is the thorn. Really thin feet are afraid to poke. New pond refreshes everyone's knowledge. Places like this are infested with electric eels. Even if you can't catch it, it's good to catch some fish. Immediately calm, down to find the fate. Ijay, check the other side. Let's hope the electric eels are still in the area. Keep making noise in the water and waiting. Amber and Steven began to fish again. Trolls who love the Air Force. Maybe you can think about coming down here. They're bigger than each other. Happiness varies from person to person. Edgar just thought they were a little loud. I wonder where the electric eel went. You're not still sleeping in the cave. Lose all patience here. Let's see how many fish the guys caught. The harvest is even richer than expected. Where is this for a wilderness survival challenge? It's almost like we're stocking up here. Tonight, we can have a whole fish feast again. Edgar didn't feel so sad again. His luck was simply transferred to his teammates. There's plenty to eat anyway. What's there to complain about? Trish is completely broken. Jenny turned down any invitation. I'll just lie there until the challenge is over. Unless we get a turkey right now, where you're not going to get up. Jenny's starting to understand Amber a little bit. It's hard to run into a teammate like that. You'll have to do most of the work yourself. I don't think you're strong enough to handle it. You want to hold out for 6 days. The challenge comes to day 30. Amber's in great shape here. 60 days. That's perfectly fine. Spotted a big tarantula on the way to fetch water. This is going to be absolutely delicious on the grill. It's about the size of Steven's hand. It's still trying to fight its way out of here. Put straight down with a stick. I didn't realize tarantulas were so flexible. Keep crawling up the stick to your hand. It's really the opposite of the heavenly gang. Thinking about attacking people. I thought they were here to eat. I didn't think it was to release animals. Anyone else would have cooked it by now. Precious food is wasted. It's hard enough, since Dan and Vaz agreed to stay 20 more days. Then they'll have to pack more. Explore the surroundings as you gather materials. Gas, check out the surprise on the shore. Matt was still looking for some fruit. Suddenly, I heard Gas shouting for help. As soon as they sprint for the shore. Who would have thought that Vaz had caught the snake? That's a pretty crazy length. It takes 3 people to bring it under control. Vaz didn't build those muscles for nothing. Guess how long the snake is? I can jump rope with it. I thought they were going to get rid of the snake. But Vaz doesn't find it easy to grow up this big. The locals regard it as good luck. There are plenty of opportunities to fill your stomach. After a brief discussion, it was sent back. If that snake could talk, absolutely scold. Watching the snake return to nature. Jenny's got to be the one who's hurting the most. Tris doesn't do anything at all. Just lay there and do nothing. The pressure is all on Jenny. The challenge is only a few days away. Do you think they can hold up? Let's wait and see. If someone says you can overeat in the wild, I must think you're crazy. But if the guy's name is Matt, so there's nothing going on. After all, who comes here to hunt big alligators? It's not easy just looking at the size. The white flesh inside. Who read not to say like? It doesn't just boil in a pot. You can also smoke it into jerky. This alligator meat sealing. The others will never be able to do it. How delicious crocodile meat can be when cooked. You just keep putting it in your mouth. Not to mention all the other good food. If Matt could team up with me, feels like a wilderness survival challenge. I can do it lying down. Matt's team here is trying to fish. The surface looks clear with no fish. In fact, they're all hiding. There's movement as soon as the bait is down. It's just sitting there. It's not moving. You can't go fishing with a bow and arrow. A whoosh came through. The fish was firmly anchored there. This is the first time Dan has done this. It was amazing. Gotta give Matt a lot of credit for his guidance. You could wipe it right in front of your eyes. Get better every day. I believe it will be much stronger by the end. It's been 37 days. Tracy and Jenny haven't eaten meat for 3 days. The state of mind is very poor. Jenny still has some strength to move. And Trish is a total screw-up, trying to sleep off hunger. You know the camp's still a long way from the extraction point. I'm afraid she won't make it home. no matter what your physical condition is. Still have to go out and find food. Do you really want to lie down until the end? It's a good thing the raft was built before. No more effort to build. The surrounding roads are relatively smooth. Avoid expending too much energy. It's just fruits and vegetables. Meat is too much to hope for. And you didn't find anything along the way. Tris doesn't feel well. Or we could just rot right here. Ever since Amber joined the team, the little days are getting better and better. Everyone thought they'd make it to 60 days. Food has to keep up with consumption. I'll throw up if I eat fish every day. AJ's going to take a walk around the neighborhood, hoping to add something to the menu. Mostly for crocodiles. It's tempting to think of that meat when it's cooked. Steven and Amber went fishing as usual. It's their most stable source of food. Try to get a few for everyone. Trish had a hard time getting to the little pond, but I didn't see any fish inside. I can feel something moving in my feet. Observe your surroundings carefully. Finally found a baby crocodile. So small the photographer didn't even notice. Funny thing is there's a head next door. There's no skill at all. Just reach out and grab it. It's a very small body. No bigger than an electric eel, I'm afraid. But it's enough to see them through to the end of the challenge. I feel like I don't even need it. You could break it with direct force. Find baby crocodiles when they need food the most. Let's just say they didn't deserve to die. I am confident that I can successfully complete the challenge. Take the time to clean this up. Jenny can't wait to eat it. I wish Trish would have handled it a little faster. My stomach is so hungry in there. Edgar's been here a long time. Finally a hunt with a blowgun. The wounded snake was scurrying about. Waited and waited just to be safe. When he's worn down enough, Edgar picked up his stick and knocked on it. The snake is really resilient. I'm panting like a dog. It still has the strength to try to escape. EJ dared not open his eyes. I thought it was all in my head. I don't know where that big snake is. It's really about turning people off. You can imagine how bad the mood is. Amber was still enjoying the fishing. Steven noticed what looked like a crocodile next door. I was just about to call someone. I didn't know they'd go somewhere else. Now that the crocodile's here, we have to find a way to catch it. I mean, Gas has fish every day. But really, it's getting a little boring. I hope Matt looks around at the big birds. Let's go shoot some more. Both sides are almost 100 meters apart. I suggest you wash and sleep, unless they come up to us. I have a chance to hunt. If I could catch a crocodile like Jenny, the quality of life would be greatly improved. I was wondering why they didn't do a whole. Are you still thinking of splitting it up? The meat sizzled over the fire. The smell alone is enough to mix several bowls of rice. Look at the Michelin chef's favorite caramel color. You have to taste it in your mouth. Tris feels like she's melting in her mouth. This time Amber won't be around to talk. The meat tastes better. Jenny was almost moved to tears. How happy it is to be able to eat and sleep. Preparations have been made for evacuation day. The challenge came on day 38. Matt's going to hunt more food for the team. There are quite a few birds around. Just close the gap. He's confident he'll kill with a straight arrow. Still a familiar place to ambush. Bird calls are very noticeable. Just wait until it comes down to drink. You must be patient when hunting, even if all the birds flew away. And we can't rush it. Only one has yet to fly away. The decision is yours. Matt didn't hesitate. Put the arrow directly into the body. Now Big Bird can't even fly if he wants to. Take the time to get in the water and get close. Big Bird hasn't given up trying to escape. It doesn't matter how fast these wings flap. Let's just go play in the belly. Matt proved it again. Was the first game of wild survival. I mean, the record is up for grabs. He's just wondering why he's got this thing on his head. But it's not a problem. Better get back to camp and show your strength. If anyone wants a big pot bird tonight, Dan was so excited he just wanted a stick, having such strong teammates around. How can he be hungry if he doesn't know? You know, there's a couple more on the shore. It's not too much to eat Big Bird once in 2 days. They're still trying to figure out what's so special about it. Feathers are very comfortable to touch. It's the perfect quilt to make. I've never seen that spike before. Maybe processing can be a good tool. Most of the wool has been cleaned up. The rest of the fire should do the trick, at least for an hour. Then you can put it in a pot and simmer. After roasting, you can't see the fur. It also adds a smoky aroma. Will you check the neighborhood later to see what spices to add? If this pot of meat is not delicious. He just quit the challenge and went home. Matt really has faith. What did Steven say to catch that gator? Or this challenge will be wasted. I was thinking about fishing to get by, but the fish are getting smaller and smaller. It'll be gone in a few days. Amber suggested a trap. It'll save you a lot of work when they bite. Well, since she said it so confidently, then follow the arrangement. I'm sure the rope can take it. What's awkward is this big hook. If we lose it, we lose the trap. The usual leftover fish head is used as bait. No crocodile can resist this. Steven was in quite a hurry. I hope we can hunt sooner. This place reminds Ajay of the days of the lone testis. It's probably the worst pain for a man. Amber instructs you on how to set a trap. The speed is quite fast. Actually, edgers caught alligators before. Know exactly what to do next. Everyone worked very well together. It was all set up in a moment. Just to see when we get a crocodile. Matt's meat has been braised for 3 hours. The taste is very good, completely unaffected by the smoke. It adds a different flavor instead. It's so good you can dance in your stomach. This is what wilderness survival looks like. With a leg like Matt's. How can anyone go hungry every day? Makes me want to get in on the action. The challenge you have come to 39 days. He said he was going home tomorrow. Jenny needs her OARS ready for evacuation. The length must be fine. It's just a little tiring to use. The final tool in the challenge. Get it done early and get some rest. What materials are needed now? Just take things down and use them. Try to save enough energy to get out. Jenny's first time out in the wild for so long. I really didn't expect that. If it hadn't been for the thunder outside, I'm sure I'll sleep very peacefully tonight. With the rain coming down harder and harder, we have to suspend all outside activities. All back to camp, out of the rain and fire. Trish thinks nature targeted her. Why do we need the whole show on our last night? If the water level doesn't go down tomorrow, we're going to have a lot of trouble evacuating. The storm has been raining for 7 hours. No intention of stopping at all. Fortunately, the shelter has been upgraded several times. I'm afraid it could actually be destroyed. Trish is anxious right now. What if it doesn't stop raining tomorrow? All the players are praying it doesn't happen again. The water on the ground seeped out. You don't know how you made it to dawn. People are in a little bit of a mental state. It turns out that no matter how well you eat, when circumstances change, one has to readjust, especially with the water rising on Dan's side. Whether it's fishing or bird shooting, the situation is not optimistic. Only Jenny's evacuating home today. The mood is so good. Pack up your things briefly. Now I'm worried about the river blocking. It'll be hard to row with an oar. You don't like Amber much, do you? But the raft she left behind did work. Both of us can sit on it. The last 5 miles. Guess how long it takes to finish. Say no more and start home immediately. There's so much greenery around. Clean up as you go. Looks like we won't be leaving anytime soon. Matt's starting to eat whole palm cores again. At least until the water level drops. The rest of the day is not so hard. Just don't overdo it every day. Then fruits and plants are enough. I wonder if the others will be home today. All Amber knows for sure is that Tracy and Jenny are leaving. Let's hope they get it done. Now we just want to see the trap. Okay. Not to be able to catch the crocodile. I hope the trap is still intact. But the reality is that the bait is gone. Everything else is the same as it was yesterday. Looks like we ran into a wily crocodile. Triss and Jenny are already fast. I hope we get to open water. I'm sure we can do it at this rate. Now, there's the problem of no sun protection. My skin felt like it was burning. I thought I'd run into the other players. I didn't think it would be Amber. The good mood was extinguished in an instant, especially seeing her with the others. On the surface, everyone congratulated and encouraged each other. You don't know what you're thinking behind your back. Now I just want to get out of this area. I'm thrilled to see Amber. 40 days would be good. There's no way they can stay. Ajay did pose a blessing. I hope everyone can successfully complete the challenge. Trish doesn't want to be here for a second right now. Hurry up and get home, while his teammates are busy fishing. Edgar is out looking for prey. Not as strong as Matt, though. But years of hunting experience don't come for nothing. You have to prove yourself on camera. The fishing group went very well. I'm not going to be hungry tonight. Edgina finally found his prey. We're a little far away from that. He's not in a hurry. He doesn't install the arrow and then slowly move into range. There were no surprises. This arrow should be empty or not. Edgar thinks the man with the weapon. It's either a big god or a big fool. Bring a bow and arrow as normal. I've already done it myself. Now it takes time to improve the hit rate. Triss is already rowing so hard. It's only 5 kilometers away. Why does it feel like 50 kilometers? The river really feels like it has no end in sight. I'm starting to think about it again. If only it could just float by. Now we have to clean it up and move on. It's a sour feeling all over my body. I could use a rain to cool my body. They didn't prepare water. I'm afraid of passing out on the road from dehydration. Fortunately, open water lay just ahead. Just get in there. The extraction point is not far away. It was very exciting inside. Just getting ready to launch in situ. I saw an alligator come out. I don't think that's going to hit the raft. They're not ready to feed themselves. The show's plane came in slower than usual. Trish wanted to call the show and ask what was going on. When the two are upset, I finally hear the sound of the engine. It's not easy. 40 days is a hell of a time. Tracy regrets not getting rid of Amber sooner. Can reduce a lot of unnecessary internal friction. Can you finish the challenge? Anyway, kind of a breakthrough for myself. If you can come back for another challenge. I hope my teammates can arrange it better. No one wants to come and hear about it. In this way, the two successfully completed the 40-day challenge. The rest of the players have to work on it. Try to stay for 60 days. Watching others go home is really envy. The thought of them back eating and drinking. The heart will be more or less irritable. We've been here for 40 days. What's in store for the next 20 days? It's really hard to say. You might never get food again. Injuries are also possible. Everything that there is full of uncertainty. Can only try their best to carry on. Do you think both teams can do the challenge? The challenge came on day 41. First thing I do when I wake up is check for traps. I hope the crocodile will understand. Don't just eat bait all the time. If you can have a little gratitude. We should be dancing on the grill tonight. Ideas are good. It's just that the gators won't cooperate. The bait was still eaten clean. Man, they're here to catch a crocodile. I'm still here to feed you. I don't think this is the way to go. Fishing energy is a little hard to keep up with. It's not easy to stay for 60 days. I can't stand any less fat. I was just wondering if Eager would be able to do that before the challenge was over. If you can hunt for yourself once. Anyway, you can't miss fishing, can you? Every day the food doesn't keep up. They're too hungry to keep up. Ajay feels a little dehydrated from heat stroke. Can't stay in the hunt. It's nice to catch some fish once in a while. The pond shipment rate is quite high here at present. Fully able to meet daily needs. An eel would be even better. Edgar watched everyone catch fish. I had a bold idea. Dispose of freshly caught fish. He's going to use it. Bike to bike. I can't believe the eels won't bite. Although the fish taken was not very large. But if you put it in the feed again, the fishing team is going to cry. Matt team's going to be a lot more organized. All are busy with their own business. Dan's still in the mood to improve his shooting. The hit rate is getting higher and higher. I can't say better than Matt, but it shouldn't be much worse, right? He thought before the challenge was over. I hope the bow hunt goes well. Matt watched Dan practice. It is quite gratifying inside. It would be nice if you could help out before practice. Steven's fishing is going so well here. If not for the limited time, he can be here all the time. Anyone who likes fishing should come see this. Bring professional fishing tackle is even more terrifying harvest. Edgar's got the bait to make a noise. I don't believe the eels can hold it. Too bad it won't bite. Never seen one so hard to catch. If it wasn't for Steven, he caught fish every day. If he hunts, they'll starve. Matt's got plenty of food. Enough to make a table. They know how to enjoy life. Suddenly, I heard a loud noise over the water. Go see what's going on, okay. If I guess correctly, there's definitely a big crocodile over there. Matt was very excited. If I can catch it on fire, I'll have food for at least 2 weeks. Everyone has gathered nearby. Matt gave me the assignment right away. Seal off all escape routes. Let Dan grab a bow and hunt. He was in charge of catching the crocodile to avoid escape. Be sure to be safe. If the crocodile gets angry, run away. There's no need to put yourself in danger for food. Dan was right on top of the crocodile. This close range has to hit the head. Gas is in position and waiting. Now it's up to Dan to play. I saw this arrow in my head. The crocodile hasn't reacted yet. It was quiet in the water. Dan put another arrow in to sea. I'm afraid the gators are thoroughly chilled. Gas pulled it straight to shore. On the safe side, or get the gator's mouth under control. Everyone was so excited. Definitely the biggest ever hunted. There's nothing like the others' little crocs. In fact, it was killed with the first arrow. Dan's really stepped up his game. I'm afraid I might have missed a shot. You can't eat it all at once. We could use a grill to smoke it. If there are no accidents, I'm going to sleep smelling meat for the next few days. This is what wilderness survival looks like. Crocodiles are not complicated to handle, just a little bit faster. Otherwise, the meat stinks and you lose. The only thing missing from a family bucket in the wild is the capybara. Just have to make it happen sometime. Don't look at Dan's skinny look. I had no trouble carrying the crocodile. It's like having an extra scarf. At least 50 pounds of alligator. Hang it up for disposal. Cut along the gap between the scales. Save as much meat as possible. I don't want to share it with other animals. Dan and Vaz are under Matt's guidance. I'm learning to handle crocodiles. I really want to bite into this white flesh. Just imagine what it looks like when it's cooked. I can't keep my mouth watering. The cut meat can be smoked on a shelf. Matt suggests eating as much as you can. The smoking process is uncertain. Even jerky can go bad. It's only food if you put it in your stomach. A crocodile can make all kinds of delicious food. Look at the alligator meat ceiling. I don't know who's going to give it a thumbs up. How delicious the meat is when it's cooked. I don't need to describe it too much. Look at their little faces. You really want to make people cry. That's all I get on Edger's side. It's a little different from the life I imagined. He suggested moving elsewhere. Better be close to the evacuation point. It's not stable to fish every day. One day we run out of food and it's all over. Ager's argument makes perfect sense. People have to move even if they don't want to. I don't know why we can't hunt here. If I could get a big crocodile, they wouldn't have to worry so much. The challenge continued on day 42. The Matt team woke up with nothing to do. Eating meat is still eating meat. Life that is called a happiness. You can tell by the color of this steak. If only it could be served with bowls of rice. Moved tears are afraid to flow out of the mouth. We can't keep looking at it like this. We can't let the other mosquitoes find us. Put it in your belly and keep it there. It's not like the meat you normally eat. This flesh will tighten up, even without any seasoning. The satisfaction of holding it in your hand reminds you of a lot of happy times. Not inferior to a grand hotel meal. The original is the best taste. If it wasn't for Matt, Dan and Vaz will probably just have to catch fish. Where would you enjoy all kinds of barbecue like now? If you can take part in the next challenge. I was hoping to team up with Matt. Who doesn't love thighs like that? The physical condition is very good. You can try all kinds of things before you eat crocodile meat. I want Vaz to explore further afield. See if you can get a view of the surrounding landscape. Or use the materials here to build a tree house. Given the strength we have right now, be well up to the task. It only takes a few hours a day. It'll be done in a few days. The body can still maintain a healthy state. Well worth a try. Vaz sprang into action to find the material, if only to complete the challenge. Then they can win lying down. If you want to be comfortable, it's going to take some more work. Vaz alone can put together the general structure. Let's just say he really wanted to live in a cabin. Ajay looked everywhere for prey. Right now, that's no clue at all. I feel like all the animals around me are hiding from me. If you can't move somewhere else, can't hunt anything yourself, talk it over with your teammates. He didn't want to stay in this place forever, planning to look further afield. Take a break from the team and go hunting. That's a very dangerous idea. I'll probably send myself home. Stephen understood where Edger was coming from. I just don't agree with it. Let's just hope everything goes well. Bring back more meat to fill your stomach. Does anyone think Edger's going to make it on this trip? I don't think much of him anyway. If he's as good as Matt, maybe I won't have to leave the team. Watch Edger leave. Stephen was very worried. Maybe 60 days is one less challenge to complete. Matt's helping gather materials for disposal. These are perfect for building a house. If it wasn't for the alligator guarantee, they didn't dare try to build wooden houses. Dan's going to use it as a house tag. The challenge of survival in the wild isn't just starving. There are many other things that boost happiness. It's a really good drawing. It feels more and more like home. Ajay goes out alone in search of prey. It was supposed to take 3 or 4 days. I didn't expect to hear a turkey so soon. He is confident he will be able to return early from his quest. Stephen and the others don't know about this. Fishing at the usual pace. Even if Edgar didn't bring back food, they also have enough food to fill their stomachs. Ajay thought he'd get back from a hunt. I just didn't think to go deeper. The more dense the vegetation is, he was too tired to breathe. The temperature is still rising. I'm afraid we're going to have to send them to dinner. We're wondering if Edgar can hold on. Let's wait and see. How happy I was to eat crocodile stew. I'll just be eating palm cores later. It's not that the prey is too cunning. It's that they shot a little off. A fish has to be divided into several portions. I didn't expect it to be so miserable. Is this the right way to open up for wilderness survival? Ajay didn't expect to be so dehydrated. This side is really at odds with me. I can't even think of hunting anywhere far away. If we keep this up, we'll be carried away. I didn't take any water with me when I left the house. I was careless. I should have got a container. Now it's up to you to turn it around, okay? This bark is crucial. Scrape off as much as you can. It suits an upset stomach, especially when you drink this river water. Bactericidal. Don't worry because drink this dirty water, causing vomiting and diarrhea. It's a miracle antibiotic in the wild. My body feels a lot better already. Let's hope we find our prey soon. Edgar's departure has left the team feeling a little down. What does it matter if you can't hunt? As long as I can catch more fish. I was able to make it to the end of the challenge. It's just too much for Edgar's side. Can understand his desire to extend his advantage. But I'm afraid the price is too high. Compared to before, the food is really less. I hope this pond isn't empty of fish. I really didn't see a big fish. Matt's got plenty of food. Just a jerky on it. That's enough to feed 3 people. But let's just say one thing. It's really hard to sleep at night smelling it. Does anyone know which part this is? Anyone who eats alligators knows that. Besides the tail, the tongue tastes best. Dan has also prepared the materials for the shelves. Steam the meat then. The scent goes to the next level. I thought I'd catch a crocodile. I just didn't realize it was that big. It really changes the challenge. It feels like 100 days is not a problem. The meat has been simmered in the pot. It tastes even more delicious after steaming. It looks a bit like barbecued pork. It's just the juice that seeps out. I could show off a bowl of rice. The crocodile tongue that Matt highly recommends. There is something. It tastes a little bit like a snow steak. Take every bite. The juices will burst in an instant. All Dan did was yell 6-6. You don't know how to describe it. I'll never get tired of it. This is what wilderness survival is all about. Ajay's still venturing out into the jungle. I wonder if he'll find Matt's way. After all, there are traces of human activity around. Pick up the pace and dive in immediately. I didn't know it was Matt's side. In fact, it is also fate. Edgar's current shelter. It's what Gas left behind. Matt worked with him several times. I didn't realize anyone was still here. I thought it was just Edgar. I didn't realize his team was still around. Ajay saw a pile of crocodile meat. The heart is very envious. Eat and drink well here. Even a place to sleep is so comfortable. Where is the challenge here? It's like a wilderness vacation. The 60-day challenge is not easy. They're willing to take Edgar here. Work together to complete the challenge. Ajay's hike was a great success. Not just finding new allies and a crocodile feast. Vaz knew they were at the old camp. I know exactly what's going on over there. I'm sure this area would be better. AJ's going to stay here for a few days. Bring your team back then. Hopefully we'll find a new hunting spot in a few days. Feeding 6 people. Stephen didn't know that. Worrying about AJ and looking for food. I did see some lemons. It's a new source of food. It can supplement a lot of nutrients needed by the body. Prove that there are resources waiting to be tapped. Can't focus on fishing right now. Just be aware of your surroundings. Although Matna is open to new partners, but food resources are really not enough. We need to expand the hunt. At least one more big crocodile. It would be worse if there were too many people to meet everyone's needs. Matt's under a lot of pressure right now. Luckily, the birds are still around. I had to rely on my brothers to feed me. Observe your surroundings carefully. See if there's a chance we can take it. This is the only one that hasn't left. Just put an arrow through it and see. It went a lot better than I thought it would. I got one pretty easy. Matt's strength is there for all to see, and it brings delicious food to the team. It feels a little bigger than the last one. Go back and show Edger right now. Come here. How can you be hungry? Make sure the arrangements are clear. Steven's back here, not very satisfied with today's harvest. If Edger's still here, he's not going to get enough. Just a little lemon for now. I don't know if I'm too hungry. Cut your hand if you're not careful. Amber looked at it and was very worried. Is mainly wound infection how to do well? For now, it can only be washed with water. The wound wasn't very deep. There's just no way to stop the bleeding. I had to call a doctor. The situation is not so bad. The bleeding stopped quickly. Steven has done so many challenges. First encounter injury. If they get carried away because of this, I can't accept it. I can't talk you out of it. Let's just hope he keeps an eye on the wound. Matt didn't get back to camp until dark. His teammates thought he was in some kind of accident. I didn't expect to find another bird. Edger feels old. We still have to hold Matt's thigh. You can eat crocodile meat right here. There's still big birds to eat tomorrow. How is this a survival challenge? I'm just here to stock up. Hurry up and get rid of the big bird. Together, the three quickly stripped the fur off. I want to stew it in a pot. It's a little big. Only a part of it can be cooked. Edger is totally in love with this place. I'm not going back until I've had enough. The challenge came on day 43. I wake up and I have things to do. Edger helped complete the shelter, and Vaz went to build the tree house alone, even without the help of his teammates. The setup process was also fairly quick. Matt thinks it's kind of cool to get a better view of the water. Try to get it done early and go hunting. Steven's fingers aren't feeling good. Some meat is urgently needed to fill the stomach. They're still worried about Edger. If I knew he was eating and drinking well, I guess that fear is turning into envy. Every day, to and from the pond, just hoping to catch a crocodile. Today's trap still didn't yield much. They've already put in a lot of bait. I feel like I'm fattening up the gators. Steven is going to knock the head off the fish. Try to get the smell out. Hopefully, this will attract the crocodiles. If it doesn't work out, I'm going to fuck you. Amber says to keep a balanced mind. It's like having a pet. I'm just tired of fishing and feeding every day. I heard something different on my way to fishing. The bee just came right up and bit. Scared them into evacuating. Amber stings herself for some reason. It left marks all over the body. Now it's a burning pain. I hope it doesn't cause anaphylactic shock. It's a little early for dinner. Can only neutralize the lower toxicity with dirt. The coolness relieves the pain. Steven helps put on. He didn't expect to get stung so much. It feels like it's getting a whole lot bigger. It's going to be a tough night to sleep. Survival is still on Matt's side. Everyone is working energetically. The dock provides a hunting ground. Edger's growing to love this place. There are just more important things. He's going back to join his team. Vaz doesn't think Edger's in good shape. The suggestion is that they just go. I know my way around camp. Ajay can stay in camp and wait for his team. The goodwill that everyone sends. Ajay was almost moved to tears. Steven was sleeping well. I didn't expect the big cat to walk over here. So frightened that they immediately rose to guard. Too bad the cat didn't come. That would have been on the table. I'm not going to be able to sleep now. I just hope we find something to eat in the morning. The challenge came on day 44. Matt's team is on its way to Ambona. Vaz never thought he'd get back to his old camp. The mood is quite mixed. That place is really not suitable for long-term living. I can't imagine why they would refuse. Steven didn't know that. Still wondering how to fend off the big cat. What if you're worried about Edger on the road? Matt was there, actually. It's just a big cat. That's straight up. It took them a while. Back in familiar territory. Matt just sprinted forward like this. Steven almost took a backhand. It's just too dangerous. We suggest you try again at noon. Something was going to happen sooner or later. They didn't expect anyone to come, especially with Matt around. His strength is there for all to see. It's the leg of the wilderness survival leg. Most of the players have been exposed, even worked together on previous challenges. Soon everyone got on well with each other. Things aren't going well with Edger. That's why they came over here. I hope we can complete the remaining challenges together. Vaz knows what's going on here. If we keep wasting away on this side, just walking wears you out. The most important thing is that Matt is there. Nothing to worry about with hunting. If you're not willing to move, well, that means they have a problem. You don't need convincing, do you? See the fat on Matt's body. I'll see how good life is over there. Wanted to see the crocodile trap before I left. It's the only hook they have left. It should be recycled or recycled. Now all the players are gathered together. There must be a lot of stress around food. But if we work together and work together, the quality of team life will definitely improve. We'll see what happens next. Ajay stayed at the camp to help gather materials. Whether it's for firewood or to perfect the shelter, all could be used. It's good to collect more anyway. I also boiled water to cool and wait for teammates. I'm just as upset as an old father. I hope they have a good trip back. You don't have to worry that much. Matt's leading the team. What could possibly happen? It was talking and laughing the whole way. You said it was a challenge. I thought it was some weird outing. It took about 4 hours to get there and back. Edger is finally seeing the whole crew back. It's not easy to be with his teammates again. I was so excited inside. The environment here is even better than expected. I wish I hadn't come here sooner. It's like a resort. Now I know why Edger didn't want to come back. I'd be stuck here if I were you. As the number of people increases, the pressure to survive becomes even greater. The easiest food available at the moment. That must be a palm core. A tree this big is enough for everyone to eat. This is only temporary satisfaction for everyone. If you want to really eat, you have a hunt. Amber thinks it's pretty good. You can eat palm cores as soon as you get here. There's also jerky and fruit to quench cravings. Who doesn't love these days? She didn't think she'd make it this far. To be the last female contestant. Strength has been recognized by everyone. Keep trying and keep challenging yourself. Everyone gets along well together. What contradictions do we see at the moment? If we keep it up, I'm sure we can complete the challenge. The food side is settled for now. The sleeping bed needs to be adjusted. It's not going to work with 6 people. It's best if someone goes to the tree house. It was really quick for everyone to help set it up. All we need is a roof over it, and then get 2 more beds. It's a perfect shelter. The materials are nearby. It's very easy to collect. A few clicks cut down a tree. This bark is easier to peel off. It can be made into a rope. The materials needed are almost ready. Weave the bed in place like this. It must be nice to lie on it like this. Matt has experience in many challenges. Well aware of the importance of this bed. If you don't sleep well, it's even worse than going hungry. But let's just say one thing. With guys like Matt and them as teammates, it's really safe. With everyone helping each other, the roof has begun to go up. It's looking more and more like home now. Steven is feeling great today. To live in a cabin in a brand new place. That camp was nothing compared to this. Just rest here tonight. Try to get food in the morning. The challenge is now 46 days old. Now I need to assign tasks. Matt and Edger are on the hunt. The rest of us went fishing. Get as much food as you can. Make sure everyone has something to eat. Vaz didn't go fishing. He's the only one who hasn't bow hunted yet. Hoping to prove myself before the challenge is over. There's still birds around. We're gonna kill them when they come down to drink. Matt's feeling a lot of pressure right now. If you don't succeed in your hunt, that means people are going to starve. How can I fill my stomach with fish? It's a minimum wage at best. Ager chose to try out for further water. He had a clear target, the crocodile. It's quiet around here. Sure, there'll be food. Vaz heard the birds and followed. Look up, isn't that it? Pick up the bow and take a deep breath. The difference is quite a lot. Just another example of how strong Matt is. You can't beat it in a few days. Like he's patient enough to wait. If there is no absolute certainty, the bow won't even say pick it up. just to show you how vigilant this bird is. Matt just fired the arrow. The sound of the bowstring scares the bird away. I guess he was hunting too hard. Everyone already knows Matt's name. Hunting is getting harder and harder these days. Ajay went out for hours and got nothing. The fishing side isn't doing too well either. I'm afraid we're all going to starve today. Everybody go back to the shelter for a little rest. Now we have to figure out what to do, okay? If we keep going like this, the jerky won't last more than a few days. Are you going to move somewhere else? That's good news from Dan. Finally caught a fish. That's a little short for 6 people, but it's a good start. Start with some meat for energy. Everybody's pinning their hopes on Matt, hoping to bring back the prey, as usual. Although the original is delicious. But if I could just spice it up, the mood will be doubled happy. Matt didn't make it today, either. It was a visible disappointment. But I know hunting isn't easy. I like some meat to calm my stomach first. If you're out hunting, you can have an extra piece. It's so little food, I can't stand it. They're the only ones who can eat so happily. Everyone is wondering what to do. Hunting has too much instability. The fishing isn't going as well as it used to. Try to feed 6 people. That crocodile's going to need another one. On the 47th day, Matt chose to go hunting in dense areas. I'm going to get some snakes for dinner today. Edger is a lot more confused. No sign of the animal at all. I feel like I'm being shielded from them. The fishing crew started setting up alligator traps. This might be more reliable than hunting. It looks pretty tempting, if it didn't smell a little bad. I don't think they'd even want to be bait. No one on Edger's side found anything. Didn't even see the fruit. The mental state is getting worse and worse. Chance walked all over the jungle. What about the food resources we talked about? I didn't even see anything there. I was getting anxious, too. He guessed it had something to do with numbers. The smell of everyone scares away prey. It's going to be even harder to hunt, unless we explore further afield, where you're going to stay hungry on the floor. There has been no harvest for several days. The team mood is getting low. If we continue like this, we are doomed. Thinking about moving closer to the extraction point. Maybe we can get more food somewhere else. Matt thought about hunting somewhere far away. And I'd like Steven to keep me company. Even if not hunted, someone could go fishing in the river. That's really good advice. It will take a conservative 3 days to complete. After a brief discussion, I think Matt's going to make it work. Steven's just worried about his body, but I'm willing to give it a try for the team. I hope this trip brings back enough food. We found a lot of capybara on the road earlier. Target them for now. If it doesn't go well, I guess I'll be back with some fruit on the hour. Not much to carry around. Make sure you reduce your physical exertion. Tomorrow is the key to the hunt. Watching Matt and Steven leave. Everyone's heart is very heavy. I don't think they get much out of it. Matt explores the surroundings. No one's opened up here yet. Resources are much better than before. Keep talking to a minimum while walking. Avoid being tipped off by other animals. The capybara is very visible here. I think it's from today's bite. They have been walking for a long time. It's time to build a simple shelter, so as not to disturb the other animals. You should also be careful when cutting down trees. The two really work well together. The structure was put together in a few moments. All we have to do is weave the palm leaves. A simple shelter will do the trick, as long as it doesn't rain. Amber's working on perfecting the shelter. It's less than 2 weeks away. You can't be lazy about what you have to do. Try to solve the gap. We're almost done with the shelter. It's time to check the fishing line again. The good news is a fish is on the hook. The bad news is it's a salted fish. Eating is definitely not edible. Can only be used as bait by crocodiles. Matt and his wife didn't rest after they finished the shelter. Explore as much as you can before it gets dark. Just came to the river and found capybara tracks. Looks like he's a pretty big guy. Follow the trail all the way there. The capybara didn't see it, but Big Bird joined in. Of course, Matt has to make it fun. Watch the big bird carefully. Slowly pick up the bow and aim. The bow must be fast and hard before it makes a sound. You told me Matt was a good shot. It was going for the big bird, but it got stuck in the branches too well. I could have shot it through. Let's just say it was a bit of bad luck. Dan didn't use the fish as bait. To be unbelieving is to taste. It's a lot worse than I thought. I'm afraid I'll have diarrhea after eating this. So let's give it to the crocodiles. Maybe this time you'd like to return the favor. Matt, and they have been busy all day. While there's still some sun, take time to get back to camp and rest. It's now in the home stretch. No matter how well things have been going, now is still to keep working hard. A little slack and you could be carted home. How does this day get harder and harder? Matt's side is full of confidence. Definitely enough food to bring home, even to survive in the wild. He wants to give everyone the freedom to roast meat. The challenge is on its 50th day. Vaz took his bow and arrow and went nearby to find prey. Not looking for some big game. I'm more than happy to have a bird. All the stock has been eaten, in addition to drinking water. I'm sure we can make it through the last 10 days. It just wears people out. As soon as Matt and his wife woke up, they went looking for the big bird. Nearby cries that are becoming more and more frequent. Observe your surroundings as you walk. Go deeper and deeper. The more traces that show up. There's a rat sitting in that tree. Stephen can barely breathe, just waiting for Matt to come down. But the arrow hit the branch again. The mouse was so frightened that he fell into the water and hid. Stephen immediately went to look for it. It's right here chirping. It's very dangerous to reach in. A bite on your finger would be a disaster. Who knows what it could infect? Stephen's patience is limited. I want to tear this place down. Matt didn't think it was a problem. There's going to be some air in the back. It was worth the wait. Now the sun is not giving face. It is expected to rain heavily in a few minutes. People are sitting in shelters doing nothing. Vaz didn't give up. Always wanted to make it to the big bird. The two sides are still far apart. Walk as slowly as you can and approach. He can't hunt long distances like Mark. Wish it was a face-on shot. Any closer and you're going to startle them. All we can do now is wait. Just sit there and watch. Wait until Big Bird relaxes. Matt and Stephen are very tired. Hunting by force will only hurt you. Catch some fish first to relax. See if you can get a little energy boost. The bait Stephen brought. It's time for the fish to smell it. Remember to open your mouth if you like old iron. I can't believe the fish didn't come. Instead, the little frog came to the door. Sure, this is going to fill you up, even if it means getting a few small fish. Stephen did not cheer up. The effort is not proportional to the gain. Kind of regretted following me here. We got a target on the gas. Just waiting for it to stop and rest. Suddenly, the big bird flew away. He was very confused. He ran away before he could even do it. A whole morning is wasted. Fortunately, nature did not give up on him. There's a squirrel in the tree. But given the chance, you're useless. Watch the squirrel you shoot into the tree. Let's go back to camp and get some sleep. Hunting really takes talent. I feel better about Dan. At least the hit rate is a little higher. Amber began to practice shooting. I guess she doesn't think gas can do it either. When you practice on your own, it's a perfect shot. It doesn't feel like bow hunting is too hard. Might as well let her have a go. Maybe he can bring back his prey. Matt and his boys can still make some fish soup. If the hunt isn't successful by tomorrow, then the expedition was a complete failure. The mood is a little low. I don't know how to face everyone, okay? Try your best not to have any regrets. The challenge is on day 51. The two woke up and began to watch the big bird. It's at the top of the tree. It's way out of range. If only it were a little lower. They got a shot at it. Amber's not catching any fish here either. You can see them right there. I just don't want to take a bite. Maybe it's just a little too much bait. There's no fish to catch now. Try bow hunting for birds instead. See if a novice can bring a lucky arrow. It's a weird posture and it kills you. The bird wasn't even scared. Go get gas and try it now. This may be their last chance. Too bad the man just came outside to do it. The bird says go away. This is really demoralizing. To make sure you have enough strength to evacuate. They can only eat more of it in the Palm Corps. However, a sudden rainstorm disrupted the plan. Matt's not strong enough to shoot in the rain. It's a good thing the bird isn't gone yet. Hold out till the sun shines. Edgina is very worried about people going out. We don't know if they'll make it. Let's look forward to the final push. We all know Matt's got a lot of power, but no one told me he shot like that. I don't care if I hunt big birds. Now, even the tree rats are going after him. You can't stand a pot of stew every day. It was so good you lost your teeth. Are you sure you're not here on vacation? Why are you on a vacation yacht? Can anyone tell me where I can get a ticket? The challenge is on day 51. We had a hard time waiting for the weather to clear up. Dan was hoping to catch a crocodile. Otherwise, everyone would be starved for energy. Try to get some more traps. Let's hope one of them catches us. The hunting team is in trouble, too. There's plenty of prey around. It's always a little bit missing. Now we have to go back to the shelter. No one expected Matt to fail, if even he can't get food. And then how do we make it to the end? The mood was pretty low. I'm afraid someone's going to drop the challenge again. The only food you can eat right now is palm cores. It doesn't really fill the stomach or even satisfy the cravings. Now we have to figure out how to get food. Okay, I can't even keep up with fishing. Should really consider moving somewhere else in advance. It's just internal friction to keep sitting. Might as well get out more. Maybe we'll get lucky and get some food today. Matt's been hunting for a lot of food since the two teams joined up. Where the hell is the prey? It can only be explored further afield. And bona fishing didn't work either. I haven't seen a fish yet. Suddenly, everything seemed to disappear. The last few days were the hardest of the challenge. You can lose a fish if you catch one. Has such a low-level mistake ever happened before? Amber thought she was really hungry. Matt's got a big bird on his side. According to the past situation, I'm sure I can hit it from this position and angle. And now we're stuck in the awkwardness of not being able to hit. Voz didn't target the river. Instead, he wants to get squirrels on the clock. Dude, you don't go after big targets. Find the use of little things. That's not enough for 6 people to share. Not to mention Edger's blowgun. Even if the target is right in front of you, he doesn't even have enough gas to hit the target. I think I'm getting better at it. I thought I'd hit it next time. As things stand now, no one should be able to finish the hunt. Voz has given up going back to rest. Only Matt hasn't given up. The little head in the tree hole looked out. He doesn't relent. Just grab the bow and shoot. After days of failure, it's time to pay off. A little tree mouse. Not that much meat, though, but it's better than nothing, right? They saw that Matt had food in his hand. Morale was a lot better in an instant. It's not easy without the smell of rat flesh. I'm not sure I'll sleep well tonight. What could be better than a little meat? You can eat it all in one bite. I've been eating for half an hour. Let's just say they know how to taste. The challenge came on day 52. It didn't feel good, no matter how much experience you have in survival. I just can't keep up with my physical strength. Others are all kinds of infirmary, worried about not making it to the end. It was a long walk on evacuation day. Stephen has lost his teeth. You can imagine the lack of nutrition in here. It's really not a place for a normal person. Resources are starting to dry up here. We really need to look somewhere else. Instead of getting a little fish over here, you might as well go for the whole eel. After a brief discussion, Amber and Edger keep watch over the house and collect firewood. The rest of the people went outside to look for food. Edger really wants to go on this adventure. Unfortunately, the body is not strong enough. You can only help the team as much as you can. This could be his last challenge. Don't want to end the journey in failure. Dan's got some delicious bait ready. You could feel the smell across the screen. I don't think that crocodile would love. That's a long walk for the hunting group. It is fair to say that all hope rests on them. Stephen didn't expect it to be so difficult. I've never been this hungry before. The spirit is broken. Let's hope Matt can do it again. Back in this familiar place. This is where Stephen saw the electric eel. Gas ran into it a long time ago. If we can catch the big guy, at least enough to make it to the end, even if I didn't catch more fish, to refresh everyone's energy for the whole fish feast. The 3 men went fishing in different places. Little bait for a big fish. Stephen's gonna pay off fast. Others are starting to step up too. There's a lot more resources here. I'm catching as much as I can now. Matt goes around looking for bait. I didn't realize there was another surprise in the tree. Matt doesn't shake his hands this close. Climb up the tree and take the mouse down. Roast meat with fish. I'm sure it will taste very delicious. Stephen's over there with the fish. Today's harvest was quite good. There's enough for everyone to eat. If I could do this every day, and they were willing to come over. It was lucky enough. I didn't expect to find a curious mouse. There's no reason not to deliver food. Matt's eyes narrowed, although there was no direct hit. But it scared him too much to move. Take your time and give me another shot. Is this the ease of the old hunter? Stephen was walking on gas. That's enough for today's barbecue. Matt was back in familiar territory. He was confident he could get more. Looks like we got this challenge. No one expected it to go so well. That's more than the last few days put together. There's no problem with one person or two fish. And mice can be roasted and eaten. It's a great day. That's a big boost in morale. Just one more harvest like this. I am confident that I can complete the challenge. Food doesn't need to be seasoned. The fish is all stuffed into the pot to make the soup. What doesn't fit is cooked next door. This little life is really good. And the uneaten guts can be used as bait. I don't think those crocodiles can resist the good stuff. Try to eat a crocodile before the challenge is over. Evacuation will be able to walk and eat jerky. Just imagine how comfortable it can be. Dan suddenly noticed that there were crocodile teeth. Looks like he had a recent tooth change. I'm afraid it's the crocodile that's 7 or 8 meters long. Now I'm more confident I can catch it. I've been thinking about how to deal with the most reasonable. I'm a little excited. I won't be able to sleep tonight. In the middle of the night, there was a loud splash. If nothing unexpected happens, there's going to be a surprise at the trap tomorrow. People were so excited that they stayed up all night. First thing I do when I wake up is check for traps. How does Vaz think he's going to catch it? Reality slapped him in the face. The bait was eaten clean. You didn't get anything on your side. The mood was instantly down a lot. It's hard to have your alligator dream broken again, with or without food. If you want the evacuation to go smoothly, you have to build a raft. Otherwise, you can't keep the water safe. Ager volunteered to take on the task, and not just because it's been made before. It was also his last challenge, able to complete the raft again. It's the perfect end to a wilderness survival challenge. How many times in life can come to an end? It's really a very meaningful thing. Everyone loves to respect Edger. I hope everything goes well. Want to meet 6 people to evacuate the raft. That must be a lot. It needs to be solid this time. You can imagine the energy consumption. Amber's going to take care of the fishing. Come back and help when you can. Let's get the general shape out today. See if we can meet everyone's needs. With someone as experienced as Edger, Amber was very relieved about that. I'm afraid people will wear themselves out. Make an effort to serve more food. I don't want anyone to quit the challenge. There's just not a lot of fish here. I wonder when we'll catch enough fish. Edger told everyone to bring up all the materials. You need a lot of it. Fixed heel optimization upgrades are also required. Even with Edger they're watching. I mean, what for 5 days? Food is really urgent. Now the main structure is taking shape, using bamboo and vines for fixation. It has to be close enough that it can't be loosened and maintained. It's almost 7 kilometers from the extraction point. If it falls apart, it's all over. There's no problem with it so far. Ij is confident he will be able to float. Matt, look how much we got here. I should be on the road hunting myself. Try to get everyone some protein tonight. At the moment, there are more birds. But the hunting angle is not easy to find. They're often blocked by obstacles. Birds like this have been shot by him. Would rather fly to the other side and find a place to lie down. I just don't want to fall into my arms. Matt thought the bird would bleed out and faint. Just not sure where it's going to land. Is it necessary to go all the way to the other side? Now that's very tangled. Do you have any suggestions from a team? People thought we could go for a walk. Not much to gain here anyway. We might as well take our chances as we used to. Matt is here to set the course. Others are looking across the river. Let's hope we find the bird together. Both sides are in position to start defining the route. Matt's way of telling the story is vivid. The faces of the crowd were confused. It's on the other side anyway. You hit the blood and you follow it. People think it's the same as not saying it. You have to find your own prey. Spread out as much as you can. If we can find any fresh blood, they'll have no trouble finding the big bird. And I walked for hours without finding it. Most likely fell in a tree. Matt didn't feel good waiting on the other side. If the bird hadn't fainted, I'm afraid you're going to have to expend a lot more energy. Steven was already a little ready to give up. Does the bird have to keep looking here? Might as well go back and fix that raft. The sun was almost going down. No good will come of staying here any longer. Well, maybe it was never meant to be. This is the way to blame Big Bird. Really worse than the original Lovelorn. Maybe the next one will be a better fit. The challenge came on day 54. Food is always the biggest problem. We are reaching the limit of our strength. Matt and Vaz are just a little fresher. But it can't go on like this every day. The main target is still the big birds. Then there are the tree mice. It would be nice to meet an alligator. The rest of us are trying to move the material. Set up the raft early and rest early. AJ's still trying to get seats up there. It'll make the boat more comfortable for everyone. That's really sweet advice. Edgar's pretty happy with this one. Have the potential to surpass themselves. Edgar really wants to help build the raft all the way. But the health is not that good. You have to take a break from time to time. Enjoy chatting with Dan. Teach him some wild tricks. Although foreign countries are more open. But he likes male behavior. You're still going to get a lot of judgment. Since going on the TV challenge, people around him began to say hello. It was a really amazing experience. I hope I can come more often. Let everyone see their progress. Matt's going around a few places. I finally found a big bird. After a brief exchange, the decision was made to split up. The prey must be taken down. Gas is going to swim slowly to the other side. Take a closer look. It looks like Matt did it earlier. It seems that fate is renewed. Gas sees an opportunity to hit him in the back. It's easy to hold it in your hand. Everyone was thrilled to see the bird. That's what people want to see. We're going to have to make more stew tonight. I am more and more confident that I can complete the challenge. It tastes better than any meat I've ever tasted. Can't wait to fill the whole pot. Looks like a lot of meat. Actually, that's all you get for 6 people. What's more important than having meat to eat? The body doesn't feel so weak anymore. The whole person is in a high phase. Dude, I thought I was taking a big tonic. If I could get one every day, a 60-day challenge. That's okay. Unknowingly came to 57th day. The raft is almost finished. Begin to enter the final adjustment preparation phase. We are still lacking in physical strength. If you don't have water to drink when you evacuate, it's easy to get dehydrated in the sun. AJ is going to arrange a water dump. It'll make it a little easier for everyone to evacuate. Dan also wanted to collect more food. You can fill up on the road while you rest. More common is the palm core. I didn't expect to find Edgar's mark from 8 years ago. Turns out how lazy the show crew is. Again, the challenge is in this area. Dan has to bring Edgar here. Better than what you got to eat. Edgar himself was confused. We can find everything we left 8 years ago. It was amazing. Too moved to know what to say. I came here for my first challenge. It was not easy for me. I'll be gone if I wasn't encouraged by my partner. I can't wait to go back and watch the video. See this trace. What does it take to complete the challenge? A perfect end to a life in the wilderness. It was a really special experience. It has to be written down here. If I were that tree, you have to yell at me all day. It's been 8 years, and it's still there. Now they're talking about adding new scars. Why don't you stop looking for a tree? Unfortunately, they didn't hear it. Just keep carving it up. Dan hopes to come back here in 8 years. A world where only the trees are hurt is achieved. The challenge came on day 59. Tomorrow is the day of the evacuation. Steven has been slimmed down to the bone. Who would have thought you'd have extra fat? And now it's like this. All I have left is my breath to hold on. We got everything we need from the raft. Now you can put it in the water. We still lack a roof to keep out the sun. I almost fainted from the sun and dehydration before the challenge. I won't repeat the mistakes I made. Try to get everyone to the evacuation point. So we can't spare anything on this. Let's gather palm leaves for weaving. The first objective today is to make sure the raft is finished. Then we'll see if we can get something to eat. I have to say that there's an old family like a treasure. The help to them is quite obvious. Edgar felt he had done his best. We'll just have to see how strong we are tomorrow. Matt is now on his final hunt. See if we can get the team on their way. The last challenge was not completed here. I hope this one ends in perfect condition. Be careful not to be exposed to the direct sun when the weather is fine. The body also reflects light to give itself away. Try to walk in the shadows. There was a sudden bird song nearby, right at the top of the tree. When Matt was just about to try it, Big Bird said fly somewhere else. It's going to be a little hard to eat meat today. It's been a long time since I've seen a tomato garden. 60 days and no results. But these look good. At least it's a vegetable. can supplement some nutrients. If the soil were better here, it might actually be possible to grow tomatoes. I really recommend you to try it out. There's movement on Amber's fishing line. It's just blocked by the plants. He had to go down into the water. You can still get meat on the last night. The mood is much better. She's ready to evacuate tomorrow. I hope this fish brings good luck. It looks like it's getting dark soon. Matt didn't give up the hunt. It's an arrow when you see a big bird. I didn't give the photographer a break. Rush into the water at once and catch the big bird. Looks like we're all getting something to eat tonight. There's nothing to worry about getting out tomorrow. Take it back to camp and deal with it. He was ready to be cheered on. The main character usually comes in at the end. It was just right to get back to camp after dark. Everyone thought there had been some kind of accident. Didn't expect to bring back the big bird. And snakes were found near the camp. This is a double surprise. Seriously suspect the food was arranged by the show crew. How else would it happen? On the last night, I can eat a big meal. It's almost ready to win. Nothing to say. Dispose of all before cooking. What should be cooked? What should be roasted? There's enough food for everyone today. It's been a long time since I've been so indulgent. I just want to set the shelter on fire. You can never get tired of this meat. It just feels incredible. I think Dan was just a fan. I can't believe I'm no less an old player now. It's not easy to last 60 days, especially if it's enough to eat before we evacuate. They're about to set a whole new survival record. It was finally the last day. Is everyone too excited to sleep? I've already put everything away. It's time to go home and show off. Everyone put on new clothes and decorated themselves. The state of mind is as good as it gets. Only 7 kilometers left to complete the challenge. No one has fallen on the last road yet. They were all pumped up and ready to go. Everything that could be done has been done. According to the map given by the program team, just follow the river. It's just covered in greenery. There may also be various animals in the water. Whether the raft can withstand it is also a question. Aj means every half hour. Just stop and take a little break. It's only 7 kilometers anyway. We can't do this until dark. Take the time to push the raft into the water. It would be funny if it suddenly fell apart. All work together to get the raft into the water. It went a lot better than I thought it would. Everybody starts sitting up there. Just after we set off, it started to sink. Looks like that's going to have to be adjusted. The mood was rather gloomy. Edgar didn't expect the car to flip. Good thing we have leftover raft building materials from last time. Just in time to use these for buoyancy. If that doesn't work, everyone will have to risk swimming in the water. It is much better after adjustments. At least not immediately submerged. While cleaning the front of the plant, while paddling the raft along. There is so much greenery here. The speed of progress is quite slow. It took almost 2 hours. We're in relatively good water. Everyone's a little dehydrated from the heat. If this roof hadn't been built, I'm afraid we're not going to faint from heat stroke, even if you stop to rest. My hands are so sore. The worst ones are about to cramp up. Fortunately, there is open water not far ahead, which means getting to the evacuation point. We just have to wait for the show crew to get here. And the boat is on the other side. All hanging hearts can finally put down. This challenge is really not easy, especially the lack of food at the end. Everyone that's getting weaker every day. Luckily, everyone held up under the pressure. A 60-day challenge that's unforgettable. And I don't know what challenges lie ahead. I just want to go back and eat, and then sleep for a few more days. I wonder what other challenges lie ahead. Let's wait and see.